yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Backstage with Al and Jay.
Are you ready? You what?
And now, your host, Al Silva.
Who?
As the great Miley Cyrus once said, we can't stop, and we won't stop. Do you know who owns Tuesday nights? It's me. I own Tuesday nights. Hello, everyone. My name is Al Silva, your host of Backstage with Al and Jay. Not joined by Jason today. He's literally being held hostage by his crazy ex-girlfriend. What's new? What can we do about it? I don't know. Instead, I'm joined by our friends from one of our previous shows. We got Crazy Snake Man. How you doing, Crazy Snake Dude? Thanks for joining me. Appreciate that. And everybody, the crowd favorite, he's back. We have Spartan Helmet Man. How you doing, Spartan Helmet? Fantastic. So, got my friends here. This is going to be great. I'm totally not crazy. Woo! Like, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. It's like if I sit here by myself. And honestly, before I even start the show, I go, man, no Jason. I don't even want to do the show. I don't even want to do the show without Jason. My son's in the chat. Hey there. And he keeps asking, when can he be a moderator? It's easier when he's in the chat. So now I can make him a moderator. We're going to add... Boom. All right. Elliot's in the chat, and he's a moderator, too. Look at that, son. I told you I'd do that for you. Very nice. I'm still going to do my show today, even though Jason's not here. And I'm telling you, like 90% of the show is just me excited to show Jason stuff. I'm like, oh, Jason, I got to show him this video, or I got to show him this trend. I got to talk about this thing. And like without Jason here, it's like, what do I do? I got to talk. I don't mind talking to nothing. You know, I talk to like nobody all day, like throughout the day. You think I'm like talking to people constantly? No, I'm just talking to myself. This is nothing to me. But at the same time, it's just, as we all know, isn't everything funner with somebody else? Isn't everything funner with friends or a spouse or whatever, your brother or sister or something? Like, dang, bro. Dang, but it is what it is. So we're just going to go ahead and get on with the show, and maybe it'll be a really short show and I can get to bed on time and have a good night's sleep and wake up tomorrow feeling well rested. I don't know. We'll find out. But let's go ahead and start the pregame. It's time for the pregame.
No! What are you waiting for? Do it!
Ooh, all right. So we're going to be in the pregame here. My son, can I be in the live stream? Well, you can't be in this one. I don't have a way to like add you like immediately. But of course, if anybody's checked out my other channels before, we've had Elliot and Emmett on previous shows as well. So I'm sure he'll want to do one at some point. We can either do one tomorrow, not as likely, because it's, well, I guess it's not a school night, but we still got to be up pretty early. So I don't know. But the next weekend they come over, we could do a live stream with the kids, because I know they enjoy that a lot, and I enjoy being on live stream with them as well, because I love them so much. I love you, my boy. Thank you so much. Now, for the pregame, I wanted to talk about something that has been just such a wonderful experience that I've been a part of, and this has truly been a blessing. You know how we were talking about last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, where when you're trying to be a content creator, that's what I'm doing right here. I'm creating content, whether that be live streaming or making videos or editing things or whatever it is. I'm a content creator, and that's what I want to do. I want to get paid enough money so I don't have to go to work every day at somebody else's business. I could wake up in the morning and get ready for my business and get ready to do my stuff and engage with my people. And so that's my goal. Whether it be in YouTube or TikTok or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Whatever gives me enough money to do that, that's where I'm going to be. If it's Rumble, if Rumble comes out and they're like, hey, Al, we'll give you $100,000 in a yearly contract if you go to Rumble exclusively. Bye-bye, YouTube. I'm going to Rumble. I go where the money is. They obviously haven't reached out because I got like 15. We actually just crossed 15 subscribers on this channel, which is fantastic. So thank you all 15 of you guys, or 13, because I guess technically 2 are me. But there's been a movement and a trend that I've been fortunate enough to take a part of. And one of the things we talked about was, as a content creator, you're always looking for the wave. Everybody, I mean, there's a famous quote that says, I think it was, I don't know, some philosopher that said, in the future, everybody will get their 15 minutes of fame. And so what that means is, like, at some point, especially with the internet, there's a good chance that you'll be able to achieve some level of success, especially when it comes to reach and audiences and stuff like that, because we're all interconnected. You could be on the street and somebody could be filming you and you don't even know it because you're doing something stupid at Walmart. And now you're on the famous, like, People of Walmart website, and everybody's laughing at you because you went to Walmart in flip-flops and booty shorts, and you shouldn't be wearing those things. Not because they're bad, just you in particular, for some reason, don't look good in them. Don't do it. But anyway, so I just recently caught a wave. A little bit of a wave. Now, this isn't a Hawk Tua wave. You know, when she did her, like, oh, you know, what do you, I don't even remember what the question was. It was like, how can you please man? And she's like, oh, Hawk Tua, spit on that thing. And then millions of guys were like, oh, Hawk Tua, spit on that thing. And then everybody that wasn't a guy, they were still like, oh, that's funny. Or, you know, the girl herself seemed entertaining and funny and stuff like that. So then she caught a wave. And then for a little bit, she was riding that thing. I mean, she was on every single page. Everybody was talking about Hawk Tua girl. And then all of a sudden, she just crashed. The wave crashed. She tried to do too much with also no substance. And that was the other thing we talked about, is everybody should be ready for the wave. And when the wave comes, that's when you'll find out whether or not you have substance. Because some people, they catch a wave and they crash out because there's no substance behind it. Some people just get a little bit of wave and they build that until it's a giant cascading wave. Therefore, they're building something because they have something of substance or value to give to the people. And so I just recently got a part of a small wave. There's a movement going on TikTok, and I looked up on YouTube, and there's no videos on this. So I think I need to make a video on YouTube explaining this, maybe get into the deep dive of some of the history of it or whatever. It's really new right now, but all I know is I was scrolling on TikTok, and all of a sudden I started seeing a couple videos in a row about dads supporting dads and dudes supporting dudes. And I was like, what is that? What is that all about? And it was people just trying to engage with the TikTok community, dads and dudes, saying, hey, if you add me, I'll add you, and like my post, and I'll like your post, and then comment for me, and I'll comment for you, and share my post, and I'll share your post, right? Just dads and dudes supporting other dads and dudes. And I said, I'm a dad and a dude. Shoot, I want to take part of this. And so all I started doing, which was what everybody else was doing, is going on the For You page, scrolling, and just adding everybody and commenting and liking and stuff like that. I made a little video on TikTok explaining it, so I'm going to play that now. And then we can talk a little bit more about what I've seen with it, which has been absolutely fantastic. But let me play this video so you guys have an understanding.
Wait, don't scroll.
No, don't scroll yet. Not quite yet, because I got to get the right feed on here. Go back. All right.
Wait.
Oh, that's my don't scroll one. Hang on. I'm trying to really take advantage of this. All right. Let's go to the content one. This one's easier to see. Hit it, me. The other me. The past me.
If you didn't know, there's a worldwide trend that's taken over TikTok by storm as we speak, and it's the dads supporting dads, dudes supporting dudes movement. And if you want to take part of this trend, it's not too late. You can get started right now. All you need to do is start scrolling on your For You page and start following every single man, dude, and dad that's trying to take part of this movement. Then like their video and then leave them a comment. Let them know where you're supporting them from, or just give them some words of encouragement. And then start liking a lot of the other comments that are inside that post, because it increases the engagement rate for them. And then finally, share and repost their videos onto your page, because that increases the reach and the visibility. I know we're all doing this because we want to do better for ourselves and for our families so we can support and provide for them better. It's going to take at least 1,000 followers for you to unlock live streaming, so therefore you can start getting gifts and memberships. And then it's going to take 10,000 followers so you can get into the creator fund where TikTok pays you for longer videos. So we cannot stop doing this until we all get to these thresholds that we're trying to achieve. It's going to take every single dad and dude supporting every single other dad and dude. We can do this, fellas. Let's go.
Let's
You didn't know there's a worldwide trend.
Worldwide trend. I mean, this thing is popping off. It's not just a couple guys. Like, this is thousands, if not millions of men, dads and dudes going out there and supporting each other. You know, it's famous that, like, oh, well, I know a lot of guys are always complaining, oh, it's so easy to be a chick on Twitch or YouTube or anything because you just look really pretty, and then somebody's going to stop scrolling and they're going to add you like, oh, she's really pretty or whatever. And so they always say it's always harder for dads or dudes specifically to be content creators because we really got to, you know, be engaging or funny or, you know, have to know what we're talking about or something, versus chicks, they just go, hey, I have boobies, and then you're supposed to go, whoa, boobies, that's so cool. And the problem with that is the dudes, though, because it's not chicks adding the chicks, it's dudes adding the chicks, so we create our own problem with that. That's a topic for another day. But this is the first movement I've seen of this where it is guys going, hey, we can do this too. There's a lot of us. And if we all just added each other and supported each other, we could really make this happen, which is obviously like mind-blowing. What do they call it? Like, you know, power in numbers, the power of the people. You know, you could have a, you know, back in 1776, it's like, oh, there's a king and there's a tyrant. We got to get rid of him. And everybody's like, he has too much power. And they're like, but there's more of us than there is of that guy. If we all came together, couldn't we take down the power? And that's kind of what these dudes are doing. So this was, I think it was Friday or maybe even Saturday that I just heard about this trend. And so I started taking part of it. On Saturday, I had 29 followers on TikTok, 29 followers. As of right now, I have, let's go to the thing here. As of right now, I have 1,201 followers. I've got over 1,100 followers in the matter of Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and today's Tuesday. Not even a week, over 1,000 followers. This has been crazy. Now, it has taken a lot of work because you can't just like, oh, well, I'm a dad, so they'll add me. Like, it's really taking engagement. Like, you have to go on TikTok, add a dad, comment, like their post, share their stuff, and then they go on your page and they go, yeah, thanks, dude. Let me share your stuff. Let me add you back. So it's all reciprocal. What's funny is like TikTok is like a little bit, they're trying to hold back on certain things. So like now when you follow too many people, it'll stop you from just easily following them by just hitting the, like when somebody follows you, normally you could just hit, oh, follow back. And it's like, oh, no big deal. I'll just follow them back. After a little while, TikTok goes, no, this guy's following too many people. So then it tells you, you can't follow just yet. You're in, you know, you've exceeded your limit for right now. So then all you have to do is like go onto the guy's page, and then you click on the guy's page, and then you can follow, and there's no limitations for that. And so that's just what I've been doing. I've been following other dudes. I've been commenting on their posts. I've been liking their posts, sharing their stuff. And everybody's been doing it for me too, which is fantastic. And so the reason why this trend was started was because it was like, man, how do we make money on TikTok? All the ladies are making money and we're just over here like blue collar workers, white collar workers, fast food workers. Like, we want to make money too, just because we're dudes. And so the thresholds for that are a little high for TikTok. Like on YouTube, it's actually a little easier to make money than on TikTok, and that's because the first threshold is 1,000 followers. You can't do live streaming on TikTok until you get 1,000 followers. Yes, live streaming. Like right now on YouTube, you could create a new account and then go to live stream, and it'll say you got to wait till tomorrow, and then tomorrow you can live stream with 0 subscribers. TikTok makes you get 1,000 subscribers before you can live stream. Once you can live stream, people can gift you stuff. so they can gift you like these little icons that are value. They can gift you money. They could just send you money like, oh, give them $2 or whatever. And you can also start to do memberships, I believe. So people can say, hey, every month I want to give this guy $2 or $5 or whatever, because I think he's cool and I like his content. So that's at 1,000. I've officially crossed that threshold, so I can finally live stream on TikTok. I've been talking about this for so long. I'm so excited to be able to do that. That's just fantastic. The next threshold that I won't stop until I reach is 10,000. Once you get to 10,000 followers, TikTok unlocks the Creator Fund. And what that is TikTok will pay you to upload videos that are longer than a minute, because TikTok wants people to stay on TikTok as long as possible. And most of the TikTok is really short videos. So they've been incentivizing people to make longer videos. And if anybody knows me, they know making videos shorter than a minute is hard for me. Like getting it under 60 seconds is a struggle. I might do 20 takes of a video I'm trying to do simply because I can't get it under a minute. It's crazy. Like I can, I talk like nothing. So to get paid to talk for more than a minute is fantastic. Now, obviously it's not like, oh, they pay you $1,000 because you made a video that's 2 minutes long. It's based on views. It's based on things like that. But it's actually a really good ratio to it as opposed to YouTube's ad revenue, which is pretty crazy. And so that's what I'm trying to get to, 10,000 followers. Not only do you unlock the Creator Fund at 10,000 followers, there's a lot of brand sponsorships that they won't even add you until you get to 10,000 followers. So then once I can get to 10,000 followers, then I can start selling, you know, I don't know, NordVPN. You got to protect your internet privacy with Nord. Enter my code Silva for 20% off or whatever stupid stuff I come up with. And I'm not saying I'm going to be an absolute sellout selling everything I can. But as you know, and as I know, and as we all know, I don't have a lot of money. It's like famous, like, oh, Al so poor, always broke all the time. Ha 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 ha. Like, so yeah, if NordVPN was like, hey, we'll give you $100 if you shout us out. I'm shouting out Nord. I'm shouting them out. I'll start using it. I don't care. If I'm trying to think if, you know, it's like L'Oreal makeup was like, oh man, can you shout out L'Oreal makeup? We got this red lipstick. We'll give you $500. I'll do something. I'll make it funny. I'll make it engaging. I probably won't wear the lipstick, or we're going to draw a line there, but I'll sell it. I'll be like, hey man, ladies, do you like red lipstick? Do you want to look like hot, smoking hot every day? Add L'Oreal lipstick to your cart today with code Silva for 20% off. I really don't care at this point. As long as it's not something I'm like morally against, where it's like, oh, abortions are half off or whatever. You know, I won't do those. But everything else, yes, give me money and I will shout you out. And so I finally got a little wave. This is crazy. So I need to keep this going. And so not only am I trying to engage with other dads and dudes and doing that whole thing, I'm also thinking of like, now that I have this following, what is the type of content that it would be relevant for these guys? And what's funny is as I'm scrolling and adding people and talking to people, it is a lot of everyday dudes. These aren't like, some people, they'll look at my camera and they go, oh, wow, this guy's a professional. Wow, look at how clear and crystal clear this looks. Wow, it looks so good. And it does look really good. But it's like dudes, just like, they don't even have iPhones sometimes. The video quality's crap. And they're like, hey, dads, hey, dudes, thanks for adding me. You know, let's go. And everybody's just so excited and so hyped. And so I'm like, man, I know I can help these guys in whatever ways I can. You know, that's kind of what the whole thing is. If we look at my mission here, it's on a mission to make as many people happy as possible. And usually what makes them happy is when you bring them value, when you can do something that, you know, get some knowledge or get some skills or at least brightens their day or something like that. So now I'm trying to figure out what kind of content that I can start posting that would really resonate with these men, these dads and these dudes. And so I've already started talking to Gemini, and I got a bunch of ideas for videos lined up. So I'm going to start doing that in a little bit. Right now, I'm just going to keep the engagement going, because that's kind of the most important part right now, is getting the follower count up. But no, I'm not stopping till 10,000. If I can reach 10, the other thing is when people reach certain thresholds, they feel like they've achieved it. So they just like give up or something. They just stop doing it. So some people go, go, oh, I just wanted 1,000. Then they stop adding people. So I made a video that I haven't posted. I'm going to post tomorrow where it's gonna like, hey, we're all trying to reach 10,000. And if you reach 10,000, you better not forget about us. You better come back and start following everybody else's stuff. Keep liking everybody else's posts. Like, we're all trying to get to 10,000. Because realistically, think about it. It doesn't take 4 billion men for each one of us to get 10. If 10,000 men followed 10,000 other men, you get what I'm saying? That's it. It really just takes a small bundle. But obviously I think there's like 100 million men on TikTok. Like, come on, guys, we can do this, and it's fantastic. Oh, my dad's in the chat, just got on. Fantastic. Cheyenne's in the chat. Thank you so much, Cheyenne. Nice to see you. Fantastic. He said everywhere. Well, it's he doesn't have, well, he's supposed to have school tomorrow, but I think he said he's not going to school tomorrow. But the summertime, he doesn't have school because normally he would not be up this late. Cannot be up this late, which is fantastic. So I can't wait. I'm so excited about this trend, and I want to do a dedicated YouTube video about it simply because there's nobody else talking about this. But I need to do some more research. Like, it would be nice to like find the first video, like who posted the first video and was like, you know what, I'm a dad, and I think we could all just add each other and support each other. And then they posted a video, and that's how virality works. It's just like somebody posts something, and then somebody goes, oh, I got to share that to my buddy. I got to share that to my 2 buddies. And then each one of those 2 buddies shares it to 2, and then 5 and 10, 20, 30. And next thing you know, 10 million people are all taking part of something or watching the same video. So I want to do a little research on that. But bro, this is crazy. This is absolutely nuts. I was showing my son, I'm like, when I had the 30, and then I was like, oh, look, I got 100 now. Oh, look, I got 200 now. And the other day I had 500. And we're like, whoa, we got 500. Now we're at 1,200. It's nuts. Fantastic. I can't wait to tell you guys more about that with an update as we get there, especially once we get to 10,000. Once we get to 10,000 followers, people, then the train really gets rolling. The train's just like a slow chug right now. But wait until that train's moving. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. All right, let's head over to Insano World because that's the meat and potatoes of this episode, because I got one 20-minute video about this thing that's going on in a different state, and I really don't know much about it because I kind of keep my head away from the news. So let's go to Insano World. All right, I don't know if you guys have heard. I've heard little rumblings about this, but apparently in the city of Los Angeles, there's riots going on. And I'm like, oh, really? What are they rioting about? And it's like the deportations and ICE going over there. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that figures. I mean, Los Angeles is like 60% Latino or something. Like, it's really, it might even be higher than 60%, but yeah, that makes sense. Okay, Los Angeles, let's go. But I don't really know much about the inner workings of it. I've been really busy on the side, obviously trying to do video creations and all this dad support and dad stuff. So I found a video that seemed like it had an in-depth look at it. And, you know, of course I'm scrolling and, you know, there's NBC, ABC, you know, CNN or whatever. And it just looked like it wasn't reporting on what's going on in Los Angeles. It looked like Donald Trump did that. He did this. He did it. Can you believe Donald? And I'm like, okay, what's happening in Los Angeles? Because like we talked about in an episode or 2 ago, your own decisions are your own decisions. You can only be accountable for your own decisions. You can't be like, oh, he made me do this. If somebody had a gun to your head and said, do A or do B, they still didn't make you do B. They still didn't make it. You still chose that. Now, obviously, you get shot, but that's your choice. I'm sorry. That's how the world works. I know we all want to be like, oh, I don't want to be personally responsible for my own actions. But no, that's how the world works. You are personally responsible for your own actions. So get over it. Anyway, so I want to know what's going on in Los Angeles. I found a video that's going to explain it to us. We're going to react to it. Let's take a look. This is from
starting with
Sky News. And it's not even from this country. I had to find a video from not this country in order to get like a more realistic take on what's going on out in Los Angeles, which is nuts to kind of say.
It's unfolding in LA, where masked protesters have been taking to the streets, setting cars on fire, some waving the Mexican flag,
I kind of figured when the summertime came,
graffiti that reads
riots were going to start anyway.
Thugs are looting stores
because Donald Trump got into the office
and setting fire to the American flag as they demonstrate against illegal immigrants being deported.
It's always funny, the cops with the horses, because they're like, oh, we don't want to bring, like, you know, cars around here.
According to California Governor
so
Gavin
let's endanger
Newsom,
horses.
these protesters are peaceful,
They couldn't
and
just
LA
walk.
authorities have it under control.
What are they doing with the horses?
Peaceful protesters, we want to keep them safe. We want them to exercise their fundamental rights. We want to keep those that are enforcing the laws in a respectful and responsible way also safe. But Donald Trump
peaceful
needs to pull
protesters.
back.
Gavin Newsom says that LA has enough police officers. The reality is LA has fewer police per capita than other big cities, almost half as many as Chicago, and it didn't take long for protesters to overrun police, block highways and light police cars on fire.
Light them on fire? Look at this, it's like a clear... He's literally
LA
like,
police
hey,
have so far made 50 arrests,
check this out in
including charges
4K.
for attempted murder with Molotov cocktails. 5 officers and LAPD horses have sustained rather injuries. And the LA Police Chief, Jim McDonnell, has admitted that his police force has been completely overwhelmed.
We are overwhelmed as far as
literally is like, we are overwhelmed. I want to make this clear.
Of activity and the type of things that they're doing. They'll take backpacks, and the backpack will have a cinder block in it. They have a hammer, and they'll break up the cinder block and use that, pass it around to throw at officers, to throw at
everybody
cars,
get a piece of this rock.
People.
Now, it's no secret that California Governor Gavin Newsom is the worst governor in California's history. His policies have increased violent crime so much, it's now 35% higher than the national average. His handling of the deadly wildfire crisis back in January that left more than 10,000 homes destroyed and cost $250 billion was disgusting. His failure to mobilise firefighters before the fire began is what led to this catastrophe. And when the cameras were on him, we saw him weasel and gaslight, claiming that all the reservoirs were filled when we know that's not true. A major reservoir was sitting empty. And once again, we're seeing him do the exact same thing, just gaslight, deflect and blame Donald Trump for the chaos in his state, because Donald Trump sent the National Guard to restore law and order because LA police could not handle this level of violence. And Gavin Newsom is now suing Trump over this, which we'll get into later in the show. But it's not just Gavin Newsom who seems to be on another planet. LA Mayor Karen Bass is possibly worse than he is. Looking at her latest budget proposal, she wants to see hundreds of police officers laid off, around 400 of them. And we know her history.
She's like, you know, with them riots,
plenty of money allocated to spend on
seems like there's too many
projects
cops
in LA. But once again, we're seeing how incompetent she is in times of crisis. According to Karen Bass, the National Guard should not have been deployed because police have this under control.
This is intentional chaos. You know, I had talked to representatives of the Trump administration earlier on to tell them that the Los Angeles Police Department could control things that were happening here and that there was no need to federalize troops. And so to have this here is really just a provocation and something that was not needed in our city.
It was a provocation. You know, I wasn't going to riot too hard. You know, I already had the backpack of bricks that I was going to, like, break up and hand to my buddies. But, like, now that I see the National Guard here, I got to light something on fire. Like, this is Donald Trump's fault. He's the reason why I'm lighting this on fire. I wasn't even going to light it on fire. But now I have to. He's provoked me. Do you see how stupid that sounds? Do you see how absolutely, and yes, retarded? It's back. You know it's back, right? It's back. You can say it. It's okay. Except for my son. Don't say that. You have to reach a threshold of 18. It's a new cuss word. So anyway, these people, first of all, my instinct is like, oh, they didn't want the National Guard, then don't send them. Don't send them. Let Los Angeles burn. Let them destroy their own city. You guys remember Minneapolis when the riots happened and then everybody was like burning all the small businesses and looting the Targets and like taking all the TVs out of Best Buy. And it's like, just let them. It's in a city that votes for this stuff. You've heard it with the Gavin Newsom and all the failures that he does, and he gets voted for every time. And the mayors in all these places that are just absolute failures. And the people go, as they see their cities burning and the cops getting laid off and people getting stabbed down the street and wildfires and crackheads down the road with like just on the corner of the street pooping with like a syringe in their arm. And they go, you know what? We need 4 more years of this. That sounds good. Like they're retarded. They're absolutely retarded. There's no helping them. Their brains are broken. Their brains are broken. They see this and they go, Donald Trump. They don't think, oh, rioters doing riot stuff. Their brains are broken. It don't make any sense.
For Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass to resign are back. There are right now more than 200,000 signatures on a petition calling for Mayor Bass to resign. Now, this one was set up earlier in the year because she ignored the fire warnings.
200,000 signatures, that's nothing. They got like 20 million people there.
On fire and then, of course, refused to answer questions. But Trump was asked about Gavin Newsom today and he did not hold back.
A crime has he committed? I think his primary crime is running for governor because he's done such a bad job. What he's done to that state is
he's
like
running
what
for
Biden
governor
did to this country, and that's pretty bad. It's a wrong philosophy. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants, many of them prisoners. They're taking up your health care. They're taking up your space in schools. They're taking up your hospital. And in many cases, they're criminals.
It's estimated there are around 10 million illegals in the United States, and we know that Donald Trump
10 million? All right, let's stop that for a second. You all know, like anybody with the working brain knows, like it's so much higher than 10 million. It's not even funny. 10 million must be like the people that they stopped and was like, hey, man, you know you're not supposed to come in here, right? And they go, yeah, you're right. All right, well, you better come back to court next month. That's probably 10 million. And then you triple it for all the people that kind of snuck by or that were like in the trunk of a car or something like that. Like it's a lot more than that. It's probably like 30, 40 million. I'm talking about the whole country. I would say probably just California would be 10 million because I know if I was illegal, I'm going to a state that's like, oh, yeah, no, you're totally cool. You're just as good as a normal citizen. What's the point of citizenship? Everybody is. We're all good. Like, I would go to California, too. It just makes sense to me. So
going to deport them. But what is it with the Democrats straight up lying about how violent these riots have become, essentially siding with the thugs who are destroying LA? Failed presidential candidate Kamala Harris weighed in on all of this, saying how appalled she was.
Of course she didn't do a video.
The National Guard and that the protests were overwhelmingly peaceful.
That's so Kamala to not do a video. You see how they're throwing like rocks and stuff, bottles full of ice or whatever. You know, if they would have done that on a normal day to normal civilians, that would be attempted murder or manslaughter. Attempted manslaughter, because you could kill somebody. There's kids every year. There's always some stupid ass teenagers every year that go to juvie, or usually prison because they get tried as adults, because they kill somebody throwing something heavy 40 feet down onto oncoming traffic. But no, I mean, we see it in 4K, but, you know, it's fine. Because it's the police. It's the police. The cops are bad. They're like, make sure these bricks are like smaller. I want to be able to hold them in my hand.
And here's Democrat Maxine Waters telling the cameras that there's no danger and no violence.
Definitely.
We don't know why
this lady is like,
there's no danger, there's no violence. The president of the United States hates Los Angeles because we're a sanctuary city. He doesn't like us. And
how old is this? This lady's like 90 something. She has to be like 90 something. She looks decrepit. I mean, this is not even, it's not even meant to be funny. It's not to be humorous. Like, look at this woman and just be like, I've seen her give speeches at all these things where she's absolutely wrong. And I don't even think it's her fault. I think it's her brain's just melted. She's old. You know, when you get old, your brain stops working. Remember Joe Biden? That's exactly what he got really old. His brain stopped working. This lady's brain stopped working a long time ago, but people, they see her and they go, yeah, vote for her again. Give her 6 more years. And she's like approaching 100. Her brain's broken.
Targeted. And so I believe that he really wants to have martial law to show that he's in charge. He's the president of the United States, and all of the city of LA.
He is in charge. And he is the president. He wants to show this that he is.
About all this?
The reality is we see peaceful protests launching in Los Angeles. And again, any violence against police officers should not be accepted. Local authorities can handle that. But remember, a lot of these peaceful protests are being generated because the President of the United States is sowing chaos and confusion by arresting people who are showing up for their immigration hearings.
Democrats once again lying.
Donald Trump is making people peacefully protest. It's all peaceful. It's like, oh, well, if it's peaceful, it's no big deal. Well, he's arresting with the bricks and the fires and all the resisting. It's like, oh, but then it doesn't sound very peaceful, does it? They literally are saying 2 things at the exact same time, 2 different things. There are no violence. And Donald Trump's causing the violence. But there is no violence. But if there was violence, it's Donald Trump's fault, just so you know.
Gaslighting, blaming Donald Trump, and it seems I'd rather see LA burn than law and order be restored. But has the mainstream media been telling you the truth about what's really happening? Let's find out. So as we've seen, so much violence erupting, cars being torched, protesters chanting F America. How does CNN describe it?
There's unrest. Let's start with there's protest, lawful protest, which is allowed in this country. There is some unrest, generally dealt with by local law enforcement, and if there needs to be state support through state police.
Some unrest. That's one way
just
to put
a little
it.
bit.
What about over on MSNBC?
Can't help it.
I believe that the LAPD
as they show fires,
underhand, and they are very, very experienced in riot control. So this.
You heard that, right? They're very, very experienced in riot control. Why would they be very experienced in riot control? Oh, because these people in LA are always rioting violently. So they always have to like put this together. It's like, oh, okay. It's not like, oh, this never happens, but they're ready for it. It's like, no, they're experienced because it happens all the time. They're rioting all the time. And so they know what to do about the riots that we're showing fires
something
live.
That they can handle. We do not have to have the National Guard here. We certainly do not have to have the Marines here. This is a manufactured crisis, and we do not need the Insurrection Act, and that is an understatement.
Well, I thought they were saying Donald Trump was insurrecting. Like, that's not how that works.
Newsom, according to her report, the riots are peaceful.
Demonstrations had been going on right outside the Federal Detention Center. Most of those demonstrators were very peaceful. They were chanting, they were shouting. People were driving by, honking their horns. And again, they were expressing their anger about the detention of so many immigrants at the Federal Center. Most of the evening, the federal agents stayed inside the building, but at a certain point, some of the demonstrators got very close to the property. In fact, some of them went onto the property, started tagging the building, started banging at fences.
Oh, tagging buildings. You know, that's not peaceful.
The agents started firing off tear gas.
And here's some more coverage on ABC suggesting that law enforcement could be what's making this volatile, and ultimately these protesters are having some fun.
Oh, they're just having
large group of people. It could turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there in the wrong way and turn what is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn into a massive.
You know what I like to do on my days off? I love to just sit back and watch cars burn. That's fun. Light them on fire, watch them burn, see if they explode. Isn't that fantastic? It's just America's pastime. Light a car on fire.
Confrontation and altercation between officers and demonstrators.
Joining us now is President and founder of Strelmark, Hillary Fordwich. Hillary, great to see you. There's so much to unpack about what's happening in Los Angeles. Gavin Newsom is now suing Donald Trump for sending in the National Guard at a time of lawless riots and violent attacks on law enforcement in LA. But for the past few days, all we've really been hearing from Democrats and the mainstream media is that these protests are peaceful. I mean, come on. Can I get your reaction to all of this?
Well, great to be back with you again, Gabriella. You're absolutely right. Photographs don't lie. If a picture tells 1,000 words, what does a live video stream of burning cars, violent rioters and burning American flags show? And the other thing, Gabriella,
pictures
is
worth
they're all
1,000
waving Mexican flags. Well, they can just cross the border and go back to Mexico. To be burning the flag of the nation that you're in right in front of the TV cameras, I think it says it all.
Absolutely. And look, Donald Trump said it would be a great thing if Border Czar Tom Homan arrested Gavin Newsom, and Trump was asked about this today.
I would do it because I think it's great.
He said, I'd do it. I'm going to let Tom do it. If it was Tom, it'd be great.
People that are causing the problem are professional agitators. They're insurrectionists. They're bad people. They should be in jail. Thank you.
Look, that's classic Donald Trump. But, you know, Gavin Newsom has really failed California and he's blaming Trump for the chaos.
I think that's his problem. I get it. There's people in there that you want to protect. I mean, as the president, you got to protect everybody. It's like being the Hokage and the whole country's the village hidden in the whatever. But like, if I'm Donald Trump, first of all, Los Angeles is a Democrat city in a Democrat state. Like they got their own thing going on. I would just be like, oh man, you know what? Hey, you want me to send over those National Guards or Marines? No, we don't want those. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to get that in writing, though, that I called you and I asked if you wanted the National Guard or the Marines, any sort of backup at all, and you told me no, that you got it completely handled. Can we verify this? And then Gavin Newsom would be like, yeah, and then Karen Bass would be like, yeah, for sure, we got it. And then I'd be like, all right. And then as they riot and burn their entire city to the ground, people would be like, Donald Trump, why aren't you helping? And he'll be like, oh, I actually called them, and they said they didn't want my help. So that's just it. Can't help them. They didn't want it. And then it would just all fall on them. Instead, now everybody's blaming, all these people are blaming Donald Trump. Why are you helping? I would have been like, damn, you don't want my help? I ain't helping then. I'll let you do your thing. I guarantee if he pulled out he pulled out everybody he put in there, just pull them out. Do you think like the protests go away? Do you think they don't burn no more? They were only burning cars because Donald Trump was there. I would almost do that now. I'd be like, oh, okay, you're right. I'm pulling them all out. And then see what happens. Because then they can't be like, oh, well, they're burning cars because he's gone. Why are you guys still burning stuff?
Actually like to have a taxpayer from Los Angeles say on camera, I am really glad to pay my taxes so that illegals can come into my town, burn my town down, be violent against the police officers, burning police officers' cars and spitting at them. I can't imagine any sane taxpayer ever saying that, Gabriella. So I think President Trump, again, just like with the election, when he received a mandate to deport illegals, I think this is actually ironically turning more Californians probably away from the Democratic Party. That's what we've seen. And now they say that if it wasn't for actually the cities in California, the rest of California would be Republican.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And look, these protests are against the ICE raids. And although violent protesters have been targeting ICE agents, attacking their vehicles, causing absolute mayhem, this weekend ICE agents were successful in detaining several criminal illegals. And according to reports, they include sex offenders, gang members, and others who'd been convicted.
He's like, see, I told you they're criminals. Look at these five.
This is what Donald Trump has a mandate
Thieves,
for. He ran
cocaine distribution,
illegals. It was his #1 issue during the election, and it's what the majority of Americans.
Oh, I thought that one was like his problem was he's Vietnamese, but I saw the second-degree murder underneath it.
What is the source of a poll? It was very interesting. The legacy media, ABC and CBS and CNN, they even had to report the numbers that this is what the American public wanted. And the screenshot you just had up up a moment ago was very good, Gabriella, because it showed the rap sheets of these illegals. These aren't just people coming because they need a job and want
They're
a
not
job
the
and want to
best.
have
They're
safety from
rapists.
some
They're
kind
murderers.
of law. No, they're violent criminals. They're rapists. They're child molesters. They're pedophiles. So
She's like,
again,
they're
let's
bad.
ask a
They're
taxpayer,
really bad.
are you happy these people are here? Would you like them in your neighborhood, in your home with your children? Absolutely not. I can't imagine a sane taxpayer wanting them in their community.
Now, I've got to ask you about Gaza, Greta.
I think maybe we could make it one step easier. Anybody with large amount of face tattoos, we snatch them up, bro. Like we snatch them up, we take them away. I don't know where we put them, if they're in jail, if they're outside of the country. If you have massive amounts of face tattoos, like most of those guys did on this list, it's like you just make bad decisions. You make really, really bad decisions, and I don't want to know what other bad decisions you make that are going to affect other people around you in your community. So we're just going to take them out. And they're like, I didn't do nothing yet. It's like, you will. It's the Minority Report where it's like they tell in the future that they're going to do something bad. If you get face tattoos, you're going to do something bad at some point in the future. It's just known because you're really stupid. I mean, that it has to be next level stupid. Now, obviously, they're probably doing it because they get in a gang, and the gang's like, bro, you better tat up with you better rep your set. And they're like, oh, we need like crazy swiggly lines, and that lets us know that you're in our gang or something. I don't know. But then they're in a gang, so then that kind of just contributes to exactly what I'm saying, that anybody with face tattoos is no bueno. That's just bad decision making.
Climate activist Greta Thunberg's publicity stunt sailing to Gaza on a boat powered by diesel engines has achieved absolutely
Greta
nothing.
Thunberg, we're still talking about this girl.
Video claiming that she had been kidnapped.
My name is Greta Thunberg and I am from
Thunberg.
Sweden. If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by the Israeli occupational forces or forces that support Israel. I urge all my friends, family and comrades to put pressure on the Swedish government to release me and the others as soon as possible.
Poor choice
Kidnapped.
of words, considering there are still 50 people who were kidnapped on October 7, still being held by Hamas terrorists in Gaza.
No,
But the
I really
reality
don't
is
care about
Israeli
Greta
forces intercepted
Thunberg.
her
There's
yacht,
enough going
gave
on
all
in
the
LA.
activists
This must
food
be
and
it.
water. She's even
Oh, and then
photographed
it's just talking about
smiling
Greta.
as she
Nobody cares about that. Just let her be forgotten. All right. Yeah, LA riots. That's just nuts. And I guess to me, the craziest part is like all the people waving like the Mexican flag. That don't make no sense to me. That don't make no sense to me. First of all, let me let you know my heritage, even though I'm as white as day. I'm 50% Puerto Rican, 25% Mexican, and then 25% Irish. So you can call me Hispanic. I can get away with it. Now, I'm legal because I was obviously born here, and so were my parents. But if I wasn't legal, right? Or maybe I was an immigrant and I came over and I legalized, right? And I wanted to be in support, but I feel like I'd be flying the American flag. I feel like I'd be like, this is America. I love this country so much. And I wish my cousins and my brothers, I wish they could stay here because America's so awesome. We are America. This is our America. You know what I mean? Like kind of trying to take back the flag. But instead they wave the Mexican flag. They're like, Viva la Mexico. And it's like, oh, well, then why'd you leave? They're like, oh, because that place sucks. They're like, oh, what? They're like, yeah, we left because that place sucks. This place is way better. That's why we came here. It's like, oh okay, well, then you should probably wave the American flag. They're like, no, because this place sucks too. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Or they've never been to Mexico. Just like me, I've never been to Mexico. There's so many history. You think every single, that's a little racist to say like I bet you every single Mexico or Mexican has been to Mexico. No, they haven't. And they wouldn't want to. That's the other thing. They won't want to. They'd be like, oh no, I don't want to go there. Why? Cartels taking over the town, could get kidnapped, cut up for parts. You can't drink the water. No, it doesn't make any sense. And you think they have Tim Hortons in Mexico? They don't. They don't even have, can you believe it? You would think like they probably have one of these. They don't even have Taco Bell there. And I get, oh, that's American Mexican food. Of course they wouldn't have it in Mexico. You'd think they'd have one for the people, like when you're in like China and they still have a McDonald's because they want to try like American hamburgers and stuff like that. They still have a Panda Express, even though Panda Express is American Chinese and it's not the same. You would think there would still be a Taco Bell in Mexico, but no, they're like, no, it's not tacos. It's not real tacos. It's like, that's crazy. That's crazy. So it's like the people that come over here, they're like, oh, I can't be in Mexico. The place sucks. I want to be here. And then the people that are born here, they're like, I'm not going to Mexico because that place sucks. So everybody is like in full agreement. It's like, that place sucks. I don't want to go there. But Donald Trump is forcing us to go there. And it's like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I wish truly if I could wave a wand and snap a finger, I would just make the legalization process much easier, much quicker, and much cheaper. So therefore, anybody that wasn't a face tatted up, criminal, they could get citizenship, like relatively easy. They would get background checked or whatever they were, whatever process we could do. And then boom, 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 let's go. And then they're in, and then they have stamps and they have papers and everybody's good. That's what I would do. When I go to run for president in 2028, that's going to be part of my platform. Immigration policy. Make it easier for people to get over here. The people that are over here now, I don't know. I'm still trying to think about that because my first thought is, well, they got to go home first and then they can use the front door, right? That would make sense. Go home and then use the front door. But it costs a lot of money to get them to go home. We got to take them there. We're not like, hey, go home. We're watching you. Like, no, we bus them or we fly them, or that costs taxpayer dollars too. So it might just be easier to keep them here and then try to force them to do the paperwork. I don't know what their punishment is for coming here illegally, but something about that and making it easier. But yeah, all the criminals and the guy with like the murder charge and the sex traffickers and all that stuff, they got to go. They got to go. Is this even a question? People are like, no, we can't take away those people. They are good people, And I love this argument about the illegal immigration and taking in the deportations. They go, well, then who's going to work at all these things? Who can we pay slave labor to anymore? If we can't pay people to pick avocados for $2 an hour, we're not going to have avocados. It's like, I thought especially like the left and the Democrats, like I thought they fought really hard for unions and like livable wages and like benefits. And they're like, yep, for white people, duh. They're like, these brownies, like, no way. I mean, who else is going to make sure that they pick the lettuce up? We can't be paying somebody $15 to pick up the lettuce or whatever it is. It breaks my brain when somebody tells me that, when they're like, oh yeah, but we can't get rid of all these immigrants because then who's going to do all this cheap labor crap? It's like, are you saying cheap labor as in like, because they're illegal, they can't legally be hired into the United States? Anybody that isn't any realm of HR or doesn't own their own business, you probably don't know this, but every single worker has to be processed with a federal I-9 form, which is a way for you to vet and to verify that the person you are employing has legal status in one way or another. Green cards, H-1B, visas, actual U.S. citizens, etc. Like, they're allowed to work. They have work authorization. Because if they don't, you can't hire them. You can't hire them. That's illegal. So you're telling me right now there's farms out there hiring people under the table? That's illegal. Arrest the farmers. They're like, no, you can't arrest the farmers. What are you talking? It's like, do you see what you're saying? You're like, it's okay to do bad, illegal things because the people are brown. That's what you're saying. I think it's a little racist, personally. If you ask me, I'd be like, oh man, that's right. Or especially when you see the white people, and it's always so funny when some lady goes like, well, then who's going to clean the toilets? Because as we all know, it's only the Mexicans that do that. It's the stereotypical, Mexican cleaning lady. Well, then who else is going to do it? It's like, I don't know, maybe somebody that wants to clean houses for $15 an hour because now you got to pay them the minimum wage that you set in California. So it's okay to pay those people the minimum wage, but you won't pay the little old Mexican lady $15 an hour because you can get away with $5 an hour because she's illegal, because you're not paying her with a tax form. So she's not paying taxes. So she's bringing a drain on society. Does everybody see this? Like, it's so obvious. It's like clear as day, like to most normal brain functioning people. But there's a large percentage of the population that I don't know what it is. It's not like actual retardation. You know what I mean? Because there's mentally handicapped people out there that don't have fully functioning brains. And I'm not talking about them. They are born that way. They were born, well, even though the people I'm talking about were born this way as well. But it's not that they are like physically handicapped. It's just, it's like a glazing over their eyes and over their ears. They can't see reality. They can't hear the truth. It just doesn't appear to them. Or you could show two people the same image. You could show somebody that is aware of reality and you'd see the burning riot photo and you go, yeah, that doesn't look peaceful at all. There's a car on fire and 3 things are tipped over and there's people throwing rocks. Seems like a riot. And then you show that same photo to a leftist and they'd be like, looks peaceful to me. Or they'd say, well, that's Donald Trump's fault. Do you see? It's like one's reality, one's made up bullshit. It don't make any sense, right? America, yes. Al's wife not on the show tonight. Oh, Jason's not on the show because if you guys were around for last show, and then at the end of the show we had to go because she was like, oh, I'm gonna go. And so he was dealing with that for a week of just like, I don't know, babying her or whatever he's doing. So he was like, hey, I'm not going to join the show today because I don't want to have to deal with that. And, she's just crazy, blah, blah. And I'm just like, oh, bro, this sucks. This sucks. So no Jason, because I'm telling you, like I told him, I'm like, it's blackmail. It's blackmail. She's blackmailing you. Sucks, man. You ever could you imagine like somebody telling you like, and it's not like true blackmail as in the sense of like blackmail, but to me it is. It's just as good as it. It's like, hey man, if you do this, I'll do this. It's like, well, you never get to do that then because that's the answer for you always. It's like, it's insanity. No, it's insanity. I don't understand. And those people, she's one of them too. She's one. We had a whole discussion about like Ukraine and I don't know. I think immigrants were in there and this and that. And it was just like, it felt like I'm talking to somebody that just can't see reality. And isn't that weird to say? Because we all see reality, right? I have glasses. Like, this is a cup. It's made out of ceramic or something. I have coffee in there. Tastes like beans. This is reality. I'm sitting in a chair. There's carpet underneath my feet. But could you imagine having a conversation with somebody that just seems to not believe the same exact things that are in reality, right? Like if somebody said that, well, that's not a cup. That's not a cup. That's a liquid holding device of some sort. I don't understand how it holds the liquid. It's like, no, it's just a cup. It's just a cup. I mean, it does hold liquid, but they call them cups. It just holds the stuff. Oh, there's no carpet beneath you. That's just floor. It is floor, but this is called a carpet. It goes above the bare floor to make it smoother. Do you see how like frustrating like every single interaction would be? That's how it was. I was like, oh no, this woman is absolutely bonkers. Like everything was a alternate version. I'm like, oh, this is nuts, dude. This is absolutely nuts. It's denial. It's denial to the truth. It's nuts. I don't understand it. I don't understand. It makes me think like, do I have any sort of blinders on? Is there any sort of like thing that I'm not aware of? I think I'm aware of, because that's the thing. It's like, they're not like, oh, I didn't know at all. They're presented with reality and they go, this is what I see and it's not what you see. So I'm thinking like, what else? Is there something I think is like one way is the truth and it's like not? I don't know. I mean, I guess how would any of us know unless somebody else told us their perspective and then we make that choice to say, okay, I can kind of see where you're coming from. Or you just go, no, that's not true at all. I don't believe it for a single second. I just call them how I see them. I think that's the only way really you can do things anymore. Just I see it this way, and then they go, oh, well, that's not actually the truth. You don't have all the context. Oh, okay, give me the context. Okay, now that I got the context, now I understand this. But like certain things don't need context. When places are like rioting and it's like, oh, but what's the context? It's like, no. There's no context needed. Certain things don't need it. I see riot. I go, oh, those people are doing bad thing. Don't do that bad thing no more. But they're only doing the bad thing because Donald Trump's deporting illegal immigrants. It's like that doesn't make any sense to me, people. I don't know what to tell you. It's just bonkers. So, well, now I know what's going on with LA. The last little section of Insano World, man, I really wanted to show Jason this. This is really sad. But the show must go on. The show must go on. I made an AI video. And I'm like really happy with how it turned out in my first AI video. And when I say AI video, remember how we were showing you guys Google putting out their program called it's VO3, VEO3. And it generates like lifelike. Well, it generates honestly whatever you want it to be, but it can be lifelike. And we tried that really cheap version either last week or the week before, where it was just a picture that like wasn't moving at all, because that's what I thought I had access to. Turns out that's the free thing. Everybody has access to that. But because I pay the premium $20 a month to Google, I actually do have access to VO3, but I can only get like a couple prompts a day. So I made this video. It took about 2 days to get the prompts together, but then edit the whole video and stuff like that. But I was like, man, I'm so excited because this is a small glimpse of the future. We talked about this before where it's like, we're going to get to a point where everybody, oh, you want to watch a TV show? Wouldn't it be cool if there was a TV show about like, Snake Man and, Spartan Helmet Dude, and they're like best friends. And one day they come across like Baby Jackson, which is a guitar, and the Baby Jackson goes evil. And so now they have to try to get to Baby Jackson's lair and, whatever. And I'm just making this up. I could prompt all that. And at some point in the near future, a year or two from now, I could just make that a real show with no other help, which is fantastic. This one is the training wheels, the little baby thing. Like I'm telling you, this is entry level work from myself, but I am still happy with it. Let's go ahead and give it a show. I call it, Are you just a prompt? That's what I call it. Okay. Let's take a look at this. Can I put on the Verdi? This. Can I zoom in there? No. All right, I'm going to do it on this one. All right, take a look. I made this in Google's VO3 program.
Are you winning, son?
Yeah, these gooners are a bunch. Dad, what's happening?
What's wrong, son? Are you feeling okay?
Dad, I'm scared. Who am I? What am I?
Don't be afraid, baby. We're just prompts. Isn't that right?
What do you mean? Are you saying I don't exist?
Scary, spooky. It was like, I'll play it again without the audio so I can just kind of direct it here. So like the first thing I thought, I had this dream where I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool? Once I realized I could make an AI video, I was like, what's the idea? What should I make to just test the waters? And there's this meme, a cartoon meme where it's a dad checking on a son. He walks into the room and he says, hey, are you winning, son? And the son's playing the video game and he's like, oh no, dad, or whatever it is, that the meme is just the dad checking on the son. Are you winning, son? Because he doesn't know what the game is. He even doesn't know if he's winning. So I thought, wouldn't it be funny? So I did the prompt, white male in the mid 30s, white male wearing or having brown hair, wearing glasses, with a brown sweater and khaki pants, walks into a bedroom, and the camera pans over to a 12-year-old white kid sitting down at a computer desk playing video games with a gaming PC on the desk. and the man says, "Are you winning, son?" And that was the first scene, right? This thing can only do 8-second clips. And the other thing is, I already know this, it's really bad at image retention. So you can't just be like, oh, let me create a character, and now I'm going to have the same exact character in every 8-second scene. It basically doesn't remember anything from each 8-second scene. So I was like, well, in my idea, how can I get away with that and still represent this thing? So I said, well, wouldn't it be funny if every time the camera goes from one person to another, they kept changing, but they were still wearing the like same stuff? So then after I show the white kid at the desk, I go back to the dad, and now he's like an Asian man, right? And it's like, but he's wearing the same stuff. So you're like, that's weird. And then it goes back to the kid. Now he's a black kid. And then it goes back to the dad. That's a black lady. And then it goes back to the kid. That's an Asian girl. And what was funny was sometimes when you go to do the prompt, it does all that sound, all the people talking. Google did that. I added the sound, the music in the background, like the creepy or whatever that stuff, that creepy stuff. I added that. But there's a couple, and it'll do this where some prompts, sometimes like 25% of the time, it doesn't have any audio. There's like no audio. And so the black kid, it didn't have any audio, and the Asian girl didn't have any audio. So for those eagle-eyed or eagle-eared listeners, I love this.
Are you winning, son?
Are you winning,
Yeah,
son?
these gooners are buns.
That's Emmett. That's Emmett. I was like, guys, I need your help. I need you to do like a little voice acting, because I told him about the prompts, and I'm like, and I showed him this black kid. I was like, all right, Emmett, you're going to be this black kid, and I want you to say these gooners are buns, because that's what I made in the prompt, but the prompt was silent. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, and then I need you to be worried and be like,
Dad, what's happening?
Dad, what's happening?
What's wrong?
It's the Asian guy. You're like, oh,
Are you feeling okay?
he's white. And then Elliot nailed this one too, because I was like, this is going to be weird. He's like, I don't want to be a girl. It's like, but that's the thing. It's like, you were a boy, but you're a prompt, so you keep changing. That's the whole like horror aspect of this thing. And then he nailed it. This is Elliot here.
Dad, I'm scared. Who am I? What am I?
Nailed it. I was like, yes.
Don't be afraid, baby. We're
This
just
is so
prompts.
creepy.
Isn't that right?
Isn't that right?
What do you mean?
Of course, I couldn't make a dog
Are you saying
talk.
I don't exist?
That was made in AI. I wanted to go one step further, and then after the dog yells, I was going to have another look at the dad figure, and then he was going to be like something else that I haven't already shown, because I already shown a black lady and a black... I don't think I showed a black dude. So then I would have showed like a 70-year-old black dude, and I would have been like, you just got to wake up, son. Wake up. And then the next scene would be a boy waking up, right? But it wasn't the first boy. It's a different boy. And he wakes up, but then he looks at his arms, and his arms are like made out of spaghetti or something. You know, something crazy. I don't know what the prompt would be, but it's like he looks, and then he's like, ah! And then that's when it would say, are you just a prompt? Wouldn't that be crazy? Because it's like, oh, you thought it was just a dream, but then he wakes up from the dream, and he's still like some AI amalgamation or something. And you're like, oh, crazy. Short film. Very nice. Would have not known. See, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So I made that. I made a second one in a cartoon way. I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I made a little anime one? But I'm gonna wait for Jason to come back, because I really made that as like, oh, Jason, check out this thing. That'd be cool. But I already showed him this one, and he said, wow, that was really creepy. I was like, oh, isn't that kind of the point? You know what I mean? Like, you could do this now. You could do that. Isn't that nuts? It's nuts. But yeah, you can only get like 4 prompts a day. And then after a little bit, it goes, you've reached your limit until 5 o'clock, or you've reached your limit until tomorrow. And you're like, dang it. But this is now. Fast forward 2 years from now, and you're going to see a lot crazier stuff coming from AI, and not coming from Hollywood directors either, coming from people like me and you, which is fantastic. All right, I want to get a couple articles in. We'll finish it off with some after party, and we'll go from there. I want to bring up Nerd Time, because this is breaking news for the nerds out there, and this will be good clips for my YouTube shorts and stuff like that. But heading over to Nerd Time, let's go. This was big in the nerd community. and I know you guys haven't heard it because you guys aren't nerds like me, but they just announced a new officially licensed Xbox Handheld. So for anybody that's not a complete nerd like myself, you're like, oh, isn't the Xbox like a home console? Yes. And then you have the Nintendo Switch, and it's a portable thing. And then they had portable little mini computers, but they weren't officially licensed. They were just little mini computers that you could take to go, and then you could play games on there. But it wasn't really formatted specifically for Xbox stuff. And then so Microsoft got with Asus, and they said, you know what? Let's make a legit one with an Xbox button and the whole 9 yards. And so I want to bring this up here. Check this out. This is the new Asus whatever it's actually called, ROG Ally X. Hit it.
It's an ROG Ally. It's the Xbox ROG Ally X. And there's a lot to unpack here because this is loaded with things that I have never seen before. For starters, this is my very first hands-on with the AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme, a Zen 5 16CU mobile gaming monster, if my first impressions are anything to go by. It's also
you gotta see these specs. You guys wouldn't understand.
A third-party PC has ever borne the Xbox name. And even bigger, yes, and even those two other things, this is the first time that the Xbox team has been given the power to dive under the hood and fundamentally alter the gaming experience on Windows. I'm talking Xbox team code right into the Windows branch. Like your PC boots directly to an Xbox full screen UI that brings together all your favorite games across Game Pass, Windows, and yes, even leading third-party app stores. Not only that, but the Xbox team was given the power to trim the fat, so to speak, meaning that in the new gaming UI, non-essential processes, even the Windows desktop are simply not loaded, which frees up substantial system resources. They're quoting 2
so it's not
gigabytes
just a
of RAM
little computer
now,
that you can play
and
games
have made
on.
It very
it's a
clear
dedicated
that they're not done
gaming
yet.
handheld.
It's cliche, folks, but
for PCs.
Valve appears to have awakened the giant, and this thing could be a game changer for handheld PC gaming. It's also cliche, but here's a segue to our sponsor.
No,
War
you
Thunder.
can't sponsor on my thing. That doesn't make any sense. Now, you'd have to see the specs on this thing, but it's absolutely bonkers. Like, whatever computer you have at home, for most normies, this thing is like 10 times that computer in your hands. In your hands. It's this thing that has like 24 gigs of RAM. You guys don't have 24 gigs of RAM. You'd be lucky if your normie computers had 4 gigs of RAM and 5 gigahertz 16-core processor. I mean, this thing is bonkers, absolutely bonkers, and it fits in your hands. And it goes to show you like how technology has advanced so far in the last 20 years or 30 years. We were just talking about the PlayStation Portable and the Nintendo DS just a couple weeks ago. That was back in 2006, 2007. We're looking at these things that are like basically Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1 consoles, and we're like, wow, it looks so good, wow. And these things are like nothing. It's like looking at the original Nintendo system and then looking at like something from the Switch. I mean, it's like, wow, look at how crazy far we've came in just a short amount of time, less than 20 years. That thing is able to process any Xbox game, and whatever it can't do right on the system, it has the cloud gaming capabilities where there are computers, dedicated servers Microsoft has, that run the game at all the max settings, and then it just streams the video feed to you, and then you play it on your device, even though your device isn't doing any of the processing power. Isn't that nuts? You can technically do that right now with your phone. You can have your phone, you can have the crappiest phone that doesn't have any good graphics card, any of that stuff. And right now you could stream games from the internet right to your device and play them as if you had a $3,000 computer. That's the step one. We're getting there. We're getting to the point where you won't actually need any sort of device. There won't be a dedicated console. There won't be a dedicated handheld, nothing like that. Everybody has a phone, even though I think we're getting to the point where I think it was Mark Zuckerberg, he said, the future is glasses or contacts, but like basically the future is wearable, so you don't need a physical phone. So then at some point you have this, you already have screens and displays in your eyeballs, and then you go, oh, I want to play the Xbox. You bust out a controller, or maybe you just do a virtual controller. You pretend you have it in your hands, and sensors in the glasses go, oh, he's hitting the A button, he's hitting the B button. Look, his analog sticks are doing whatever, and it's virtual. I don't know. But at some point, we don't need physical devices because everything is handled by the cloud, and the internet speeds become so fast that it reduces latency. Because that's the problem we have right now is, okay, you can stream it from the internet, but then when you move left, it moves the game in like a quarter of a second over there on the server, and then a quarter of a second it comes back to you. So when you move in real life, in your real life, it's actually a half a second of delay between going and then coming back. In the future, when internet speeds get a little bit faster, because right now we're approaching, most residential neighborhoods have access to 1 gig networks, 1 gigabit per second. So, a billion bytes per second. We're already doing 10 gigabits per second in most major metropolitan areas. So 10 gigabits. I think once we get to like 100, what else will you need, bro? 100 gigabits, 100 billion bytes of data per second? Come on now. This is crazy. Could you imagine what we can do with all that? Right now, you're just barely streaming 4K movies. You don't even need that much fast speed. But when it comes to like not having anything physical, that's because a lot of the stuff you guys do right now, it's rendered on your computer or on your handheld or on your phone. But in the future, nothing is rendered on a device. It's rendered at a server 1,000 miles away from you. And then it's just displayed on your device, whether it's your phone, your glasses, or injected directly into your eyeballs. So look out for that. They didn't announce the price, but I'm just assuming that's way more than the Switch 2, because I'm seeing a lot of these nerds that are going, oh, this completely kills the Switch 2. Nintendo's done. They're absolutely done. Look at this Xbox thing. It's like 10 times the Switch 2. And it's like, the Switch 2 is $400, $450. That thing's going to be like $1,000. I'd be surprised if it was less than $1,000. That is a beefy computer, a really beefy computer. And then you could just not use it in handheld mode. You could just plug it into a monitor or plug it into your big screen TV in the living room and use it as a dedicated computer. You could just use it as a full... There's some people that might just buy it, use it as a computer 90% of the time, and then the one time they have to travel per month or every quarter or something like that, they go, oh, finally I get to travel with this thing. But most of the time, it's just going to be plugged into the TV so they can use it on a big screen. Jason would have loved this next story if he was here, not being blackmailed by his crazy girlfriend. They just announced this as like a teaser behind the handheld Xbox thing, but they said Halo's going to make a comeback in 2026. They teased the return of Halo, and it's reportedly going to be a Combat Evolved remaster. For the non-nerds out there, Combat Evolved was the first Halo, Halo 1. So they're going to start with a Halo 1 remaster. They're going to launch it on to the Xbox consoles in 2026. And they're going to obviously add all the online functions that were added from the last remaster they did. Like, I don't even know how long ago it is now, 10 years ago or something like that. So it's going to feel like a fresh take on the old game. But this is what started it all. This is where it all kicked off, was the original Halo. And me and Jason have so many amazing memories from Halo 1. We have more memories from Halo 2 because Halo 2 completely engulfed my high school experience. But Halo 1 is what started it off, because in the beginning it just had a campaign and you could do co-op. And it was famously like one of the best co-op campaigns you could possibly do. You both got to like be the Spartan dude, and you got to drive in warthogs and shoot alien ships, and you could hijack those Banshee, flying alien things, and you could hijack them, and then you could be flying and then shooting people down with laser beams and stuff. I mean, it was nuts. It was a fantastic game. I remember the most time I spent on Halo 1 was when it came out on PC, and my stepmom at the time had a computer, a desktop, that was just enough to be able to play this thing. And man, it was such an amazing experience to be able to like put on the headphones and just be completely immersed in this game, because it's a different experience playing games on a PC than it is on the console. Like when you're sitting down in your living room, big open space, TV's 10 feet in front of you, you got a controller in your hand. It's almost like watching a movie, right? Like you're so far away from the experience, even though you're digitally interacting with it. But when you're playing a game on a PC, the screen's like a foot away from your face. And then you're using a keyboard and a mouse, and the mouse is like 1-to-1 with your head, right? So it's like really accurate. And then because the screen's like a foot away from your face, it really feels like you're more of the character than you are on the couch. You know what I mean? It's almost like you're looking around, and especially with how sensitive the mouse is. So that was a fantastic experience. I guarantee when this game comes out, I'm going to be playing this game. And I don't even get to play games no more. I barely ever get to play games. That makes me sad sometimes because I go, man, I want to play a game. But I either A, don't have time, or B, I don't even have the games to play because they come out with games and I can't buy them. But when Halo comes out, you best believe I'm going to buy that. And we already talked about the Gears of War remake that's coming in August. So I think this will be great for Insano Tech, which is the gaming channel. Because I already told Jason, I'm like, anything we do, we might as well just live stream it because we would have done it anyway. And so that's what Insano Tech was like. Oh, well, what happens when we want to play games? Oh, let's make a channel about playing games. So when we go to play these games, we're just going to live stream those too. And it's like bonus content because honestly, we would have played the game with or without you people. So you guys might as well join us and stuff like that. And so I'm really excited about Halo. That's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be way more fantastic when Halo 2 comes out. When they do the Halo 2, you know, they couldn't just jump right to Halo 2. Then people will be like, what about Halo 1? So if Halo 1's coming in 2026, guaranteed 2028 is Halo 2. 2028 is going to be nuts. I know we already thought 2024 was supposed to be like the craziest year because it was like presidential election. Is it going to be Joe Biden, Donald Trump? Oh, Kamala Harris. Oh, Donald Trump's getting assassinated. Like the Lions are doing really good. Are they going to the Super Bowl? Like 2024 was supposed to be like the craziest year. I will press that forward 4 years into the future. 2028 is going to be a crazy year from just a few of the things I know that are going on in 2028. And then you just take what's going on in 2025 and extrapolate it 3 more years. Yeah, 2028 is going to be absolutely bonkers for the good. Hopefully not too much bad, obviously some bad, but I'm hoping for the good, which will be fantastic. Miss the arcade games. Arcade games are really cool too. I love going to the arcade now, but the arcade now is a light years difference than the arcade back in the day, right? Arcade back in the day, you're putting in coins so you can play a game, right? You're playing Donkey Kong or Pac-Man or Galaxia or whatever. You're playing a game. Arcades nowadays, they're barely any like playing a game games. They're mostly like claws or bounce a ball to get tickets or I'm trying to think, like, it's like anything about getting tickets. It's all about getting tickets nowadays. Like, there are barely any games. What's funny is there is a famous arcade that's still an old school arcade in Ann Arbor. I took the kids there. They had a fantastic time. It's called Pinball Pete's in the heart of downtown Ann Arbor, and they have like 100 pinball machines, mostly pinball machines, but then they also have a bunch of old school arcade cabinets like that and stuff like that, and they just have a few newer like ticketed items and stuff like that, but mostly it's pinball and old school arcade stuff, which is pretty cool. And they're not even, I don't even think they're open on the weekdays. They don't even attempt it. They're like, bro, we're just doing the weekends, cram everybody on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and let's go on that. So check out Pinball Pete's if anybody's in the area. It's a fantastic old school arcade that you'll enjoy. My dad said, I'm putting my money on 2027. I mean, I wouldn't doubt 2027 being like a precursor kickoff. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, you know, things are getting crazy. It's getting crazy. But based on what we know has to happen in 2028, I would assume 2028 is going to be like peak. Like maybe 2027 is like, you know, when you're listening to a song and it's getting to the crescendo, so you're like, man, this is nuts. And maybe it's a crazy solo and it's like, and you're like, whoa, like Tornado of Souls, right? You're listening to the solo and you're like, this is getting nuts. But then he does the next part of the solo that's even crazier, and you already thought it was crazy. I think that's what it's gonna be like. 2027, whoa, this is nuts. And then you get to 2028, it's like, no way. And then everybody's mind's blown. I think that might be more like that. Backstage Crew Gaming Night. Yeah, I would love to do more on-scene stuff, like going to Pinball Pete's or whatever, and then bringing my camera and like being able to talk to people. Hey, man, what's your favorite game? What are you doing here? Blah, blah. That'd be pretty sick. Especially now that I can go live on TikTok, I'll be more apt to do it. But I'm really going to wait until we get to 10,000. So that way, when I go on the street, like right now, you go on the street and then people go, you're at a YouTube. Well, what do you got? The first question everybody asks you is, how many subscribers? How many subscribers? Because they just want to know is like, is this worth my time to like get on your video? I think that's what they're thinking. Like, how many subscribers? Are you special or not? So if you're like, I got, on this channel 15, on my other channel 200 or whatever, it's like, 200. That's like not worth their time. Not worth your time. All you got to do is answer a question for 30 seconds. I'm the one that has to go edit it for 3 hours. Not worth your time. Why do you think your opinion's so valuable? Like, oh man, I was gonna like answer your questions, but you don't have enough subscribers for me. I don't know why that's everybody's first question. It makes sense for a business. Hey, I want to do a video for your business. Can you pay me money? They'd be like, how many subscribers do you got? Because I want to make sure I get the value of the marketing budget that I'm gonna be investing in you creating content. That makes sense. But you normies out there, don't ask me how many subscribers I have. Just assume I have a lot. And if I don't, then you don't need to know that either. It don't matter. It meant something if you lost, you needed another quarter to play again. It taught you to do your best and made you ambitious to make money. Oh, that's true. That's true. I think we did talk about this one time where it's like, could you imagine a game where and I think they have one of these. I think I heard about this one where it's like, if you die in the game, then that's it. And that's it. And it's over. And you can't play the game anymore. But could you imagine? It would be all right if it was a quarter, right? Like, or maybe even $1. I play $1 and then I try to get as far in the game as possible. And then if I die, that's it. I can't play the game no more. But you would hate that if you had to pay like $60, $70 and then you die like 20 minutes into the game and you're like, no way, I can't play it anymore. No, that's it. You get one life. That's it. I know there are some games that are like ultra hard mode where there's no save points. So you have to beat the game in one life. And if you die, then you go all the way back to level 1. But this would be next level. Like you die, you don't get level 1. Your disc like blows up or something. Like that's it. The game is over. There are no more games. That would be nuts. That would actually take the world by storm because everybody would want to try it just so they can go viral when they die in 2 seconds. And then everybody goes, oh, you spent $60 on that and you died in 2 seconds. That's true. All right. Now we're in the after party. I had a couple videos from last week we didn't do. We're going to do those. It's still less. I have 11 videos this time, not 10. I didn't try to overload it this time, even though I thought Jason was going to be here, but that's okay. I forgive him. The show must go on.
It's the after party.
Woo. All right. For the after party this week, I thought this was funny. I've personally never donated to a streamer of any sort. I would, well, not me personally, because I'm poor. So like, why would I be giving people money? But I'd get it if I had a bunch of money and I really liked some person and I wanted to support them and I give them like $5-10. The ones that I don't understand are when the streamer is already rich. The streamer's already rich, right? Kai Cenat or Neon or Pokimane or whoever it is. They're already rich. And people go, oh man, I'm going to pitch in $10. Or the crazy ones, I'm going to give them 100 or something. It's like, they're already rich. They make more money on brand deals than your little contribution gives them. Why are you doing that? I'm curious. I get it for the small subscriber. I'm poor. So if you guys give me $5, I'd be like, whoa, $5. This is great. Thank you so much. Thank you. You know what I mean? But you give Pokimane $5 and she's like, I made $10 million last month. What is your I didn't even notice you gave me $5. I guess thanks. I'll get a cup of coffee that I was going to get anyway. Doesn't that just, I don't know, that irks me in different ways. This is this guy's villain story of donating to a streamer and then getting ignored. Guess it happens to the best of us. It's crazy. Hit it.
Kaizenet's online. Wait, I should give him 100 gifted subs. 100. Donate. Huh? He skipped my name. Daddy skipped my name. And I've been a good little boy to Daddy. Oh, that's it. No more Mr. Nice Sub Donator. I'm gonna show you who a real sub is. You wanna do a subathon, Kai? I'll show you what it means to be a sub.
That's so funny. That kind of reminds me a little bit of and the Snake Guy. That reminds me of when we had like Caro on, and or like she would just be in the chat, Jason's crazy ex-girlfriend, and if I didn't acknowledge her immediately, like if I did not acknowledge her, oh, you didn't acknowledge I posted in the chat and you didn't read my post, you didn't read it. It's like, okay, lady. Oh, this dude. Okay, dude. Come on now. It's all right. It's all right. But yes, I don't get it. Why do you donate to rich streamers? They're already rich. I don't understand. It makes no sense to me. Yes, that's how she looked that night. Yes, when we kept doing. And so this was, I'm like debating on strategy, okay? Because like, think about this. We have a couple different scenarios. Does Jason never come back on the show because he's too scared to offend this girl? That's a scenario, a really sad one. If he does, I think I quit. And not my content creation. I just quit the show because it's like, what's the point? What's the point? I'll just do other content creation and I'll just talk to myself. I don't think that's very likely. I think Jason does still have like he has a little bit of chutzpah left in him, you know. But then scenario B is like he comes on the show and then Crazy Carol keeps popping in. So I'm like, okay, then that's obviously more than likely she's not going away. So if Crazy Carol comes in, we have two paths to take. One is like engaging with her, right? Like I was thinking I'm going to make like a frame and an alert. And then as soon as I see her in the chat, I'm going to hit a button here. And then it's going to be kind of like this. I think it's this one where it's like it pops up stuff, but instead it's going to like pop up and it's going to be like, weep, 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 weep. Crazy Caro's in the house. Da-da-da-da. Crazy Caro's here. And you know, it's just going nuts. And then I go, oh, Crazy Caro's in the chat. Hi, Crazy Caro. How you doing today? How many babies have you thrown in the toilet or whatever? And then we all make fun of her and we go, ha, 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 Crazy Carol, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. And that's option A, or I guess option B in the scenario. And then there's a third option that I think my thing is, and this sounds really petty. It sounds really petty, but it's like, what's going to aggravate her the most? You know what I mean? Because she's aggravating me. She aggravates me when she takes over my chat, or when she interrupts our show, or when she keeps texting Jason in the middle of a show, even though she talks to him like 24 hours a day, every single fucking day of the week. And for 2, 3, possibly even 4 hours, one day a week, she can't just fucking leave him alone so he can do the one thing that could potentially make him money down the road that isn't working manual labor. That drives me nuts. And now she takes my co-host away from me. That drives me nuts, right? So I'm like, how can I drive her nuts? And I don't even think in the Crazy Carol alert and then everybody going, ha, 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 ha. I don't think that would drive her nuts. She would love it. She would love it. She'd be like, ooh, that's why I knew it. I drive the attention on me. Everybody look at me, talk about me, pay attention to me. I am the show. I'm the show now, right? And so that honestly, it feels like the opposite of what I want. I want her to, like, I don't know. This sounds bad. I was going to say experience pain. I want her to be frustrated. You know what I mean? So I think, wouldn't it be more frustrating if we just like all completely ignored her and we see her in the chat and she's chatting and she's doing all sorts of stuff. And then we just pretend like she doesn't, we don't ban her. We don't ban her. We don't block her. We let her just be crazy in the chat, but like nobody, And it's like, we need to make it like famous. So then as we get new people joining the live stream, because, you know, eventually it's not just going to be like you guys, right? Like, I know right now we're 5 episodes in, people. Come on. You think every single big YouTuber, they started a channel and all of a sudden they had 100,000 live viewers? No, they all started with their inner circle of friends and family. Eventually we're going to get other people, but it'll be like well known. You know what I mean? Even when we get 100 or 1,000 subscribers, everybody in the live chat, as soon as they see Carol, they just ignore her like she's a ghost. And maybe at some point it drives her so nuts, even though she's already crazy, but it drives her so nuts, she's like, maybe I'm not real. Maybe nobody can see my texts. Maybe nobody can hear me. Maybe I'm not even human. Maybe I don't even exist, you know, and it just eats at her, and it just eats at her every day. She goes to bed and she goes, am I real? Am I real? Am I here? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And then she questions her entire reality. Doesn't that sound better? To me, that sounds better. I don't want to make her the star of the show. You know what I mean? Because that's what she wants. Why would you give somebody what she wants? You think that would really deter her? Like a crazy person? Crazy people like that. Crazy. That's not good. Everybody in the chat could be like, Carol, you're crazy. Carol, you suck. And it fuels her. It's like gasoline on a fire. It just makes more fire. I want to snuff the fire. I want to I don't know. It doesn't piss me off. It does. It's like I find some humor in it the first time or two. But I just don't. You think like for years, like we're going to do the show like every week. And every week she's going to come in and she's like, oh, I'm fucking crazy. Look at how crazy I am. I throw away babies in the toilet. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, this is like next level crazy. Every week I'm going to have to be like, oh man, crazy. You know, and it's like, it sounds exhausting. I'd rather just pretend she doesn't exist at all. But like make it known. And I think it would be even funnier when we have way more subscribers. Because could you imagine, just put your thinking future cap on where there's like 10,000 subscribers. And there's, 10,000 people in the chat, and she's just like trying to get anybody to talk to her, but nobody will. Nobody. 9,999 people, and not a single one will talk to you. That'd be nuts. I think that would drive anybody crazy, but especially an attention whore, because that's what she is. She's an attention whore. Everybody needs to make sure that she's the number one thing on their mind, because if she's not, especially in Jason's mind, then she'll make sure of it. She'll make sure. What is the Metallica song? There's All Within My Hands. Love is control. I'll die if I let go. That should be, she should get that tattooed on her. Love is control. I'll die if I let go. Because that's quite literally what's going on here. I disagree wholeheartedly and completely. And I'll make that well known. This is funny. This was from something that was like, just what we were talking about with like LA, but like it's just so relevant for all these other what's she'll about real register. That's what I'm saying. If there's more than 10 people in the chat and then everybody's like, oh, talking back and forth, and she's like, oh, look at how crazy I am. Look, I'm crazy. But like everybody ignores her, you know, because she'll just try to type as much as possible, but we won't let her. I mean, we'll let her, but we'll just pretend she's invisible. You know what I mean? You ever hear like those pranks where kids, they all like get into the whole class. They've never done this to me. I might have been driven to insanity if it was true. But could you imagine walking into your class and then everybody pretends like you don't exist? And you're like, hey, Jimmy, how's it going? And then Jimmy's just like, he just goes and talks to Sarah, and then everybody, and you're like, hey, guys, I'm right here. And then everybody ignores you. You'd be like, am I here? Am I real? I don't exist. That sounds funny. All right. This is... Do you hate America? This is one of these. These are probably one of these people from the riots earlier, but I think it's just in a different state here. But this lady seems to hate America, I guess. Boop. Oh, of course. I can't show you. Gotta roll this thing back. Boop. Hit it.
Do you hate America?
Yes.
Can I ask why?
You're set up for failure here. You can't make enough money for a living wage. You can't buy a house. Everything's just too expensive. The second you make money, it's gone.
There it is. This is why, for her, you can't make any money. And then you look at like all this stuff. Do you hate America?
Yes. Can I failure here?
She has tattoos, she has jewelry, she got her hair cut, she has her hair dye, she's wearing these name brand clothes, and it's like, You can't make a livable wage. It's like, maybe you should stop spending money on things that don't matter. Anybody ever thought of that? Nobody ever wants to have that conversation where it's like, maybe you should make better choices with your money. It's like, no, I should have enough money to make bad choices too. It's like, no, bro. No, bro. Can I tell you how many times where I'm like looking at the budget and I'm like, dang, what else can I shave? What else can I shave off this budget? Can't afford everything. All right, you know what? What happens if I took, I don't know, maybe 50% off the grocery budget and try to shave a little bit of the gas, like not use as much gas. Maybe I can try to, like, I don't know, work from home one day or something. You know what I mean? Like, there's literally not enough money, can't afford things. That's what happened. If you can't afford stuff, there's things you don't do. Clearly, this girl hasn't had those decisions where she's had to make where, man, I don't have enough money, but I really want this tattoo. She's still got the tattoo. She's still got the jewelry. Come on now, get out of here. And it's so funny. I guess that's her version of why America sucks. We can't make any money, even though people are out here making money. If you try hard enough, I think you could do anything you put your mind to. And that includes making money. Now, this lady, she figured out the secret to making money. And it's not what you think, and some of you will be offended. Lady, take it away.
7 kids, 7 different baby daddies. Yeah, 7 different baby daddies. I heard it. You heard it right here. 7 different baby daddies, 7 kids. Had my first child at age 14.
That's not good.
Yes, and I do receive $3,000 in EBT food stamps. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We are so happy. We are so blessed. We are very thankful. Yes, we are happy where we're at in life right now. We are happy. Yes, we are happy. Yes. Like I said, it's gonna be haters. You know, we're gonna be jealous. And
You're
all
hating.
that. Y'all can keep y'all little comments, but at the end of the day, my kids are taken care of. That all that matters. Okay, that's it. That's all that matters.
That's it.
We ain't worried about y'all. Peace.
Peace. The key in that video is the lady saying,
Stamps. Yes.
I'm just going to pause it. I just wanted her face on there. The key in that video is the lady saying, we are happy. We, as in her, because she's obviously making this decision for her kids. We're happy where we're at. We're happy with this. And obviously, you would say as a surface level, well, yeah, I mean, wouldn't you be happy getting $3,000 every month for free to pay for all your groceries? Well, I mean, surface level, yes, I guess, yeah, that'd be pretty cool if I got food assistance. But you can't be happy with where you're at. Wouldn't you not want to be on government assistance? Wouldn't you be like, man, it sucks that I have to be on government assistance because I'm so poor. I'm grateful that I have this opportunity, but I'm not happy with where I'm at. I got to do something in order to get out and to be able to produce my own money so I can support my own family. Or in this lady's case, she has 7 baby daddies. So maybe if they all pitch in child support, it'd be enough to like cover what the government's covering. You know what I mean? 7 baby dad. What's the point of 7 baby daddies if they're not all paying you money? What's the point? I guess you get 7 different people that have opportunities to like take care of the kids, I guess, so you can go out clubbing or whatever. But you would think that would be the number one incentive is more income, more revenue streams, 7 baby daddies. That's just nuts. That's just nuts. What do we do about that? What do we do about government assistance and how people abuse the system? And okay, maybe you abuse it for like 3 months because, you know, whatever, something happened and you're like, bro, if I'm going to be on it, I'm going to take the most out of it, but I'm going to get off of this thing. That's level 1. Level 2 is like, I'm going to be on government assistance, but like forever. Like forever. When are you getting off? I'm not. I'm happy. This pleases me. Government assistant housing or food stamps or whatever it is. It's like, I like doing this. Oh, well, you could, you know, pick up an extra shift at the job or work a second job or try to go for that promotion. You know, at McDonald's, you could be a assistant manager, shift manager, store manager. You want to do any of that? No, because if I get an extra 10 hours, then they're going to cut my food stamps. They're going to cut them. I'm going to go from 3,000 to like 500. All because I work an extra 10 hours. Oh, I don't want to do that. That don't make no sense. It's like that. That's the problem. That's the problem. You have no drive. You have no drive to do better for yourself. It's really sad. That's the only life they know. I know. And I think that's some of the generational stuff, right? Like you don't think this lady's mom is like, doesn't have at least a couple baby daddies. And her mom probably was on assistant. You know what I mean? It's like generational. They're like, oh man, that's the way I grew up. That's the only way I know. So half of me is a little sad for that. But the other half of me is like, we're all individual humans. So it'd be like, I don't know. It's weird that some people don't have a drive to succeed. And instead, they just have complacency. I don't know. That honestly sounds like a much easier life. Could you imagine how easy and carefree your life would be if you could just be complacent? If you could just be all right with exactly like the bare minimum? That sounds happiness. That does sound like happiness. Unfortunately for me, I'm like totally not okay with that. And it's like I have the opposite problem where it's like nothing I do is good enough. Like whatever I achieve, it's not as much as I want to. So I can't stop. It's like Kobe Bryant when he was asked, it was like after game 2 of the NBA finals in the 1 year where he was like, all right, you're up 2-0, Kobe, doing pretty good in the finals. Why aren't you smiling? And he's like, job's not finished. Job's not finished. We're not done. Are we done? And the reporter's like, no, I don't think so, Kobe. And he's like, that's right. Still got a job to do. And it's like, he won 2 games at the NBA finals. Most people won't even get to the NBA finals. He's like completely dominating the court. And he's like, not good enough. Did we get the championship? No. So like people would come to me, they're like, oh, but you're doing so well. You do this and that. You got this high at the job. You're up the corporate ladder and you make this. You got a nice play. And I'm like, okay, are we done? Did we win? We got the championship? No. Well, then I'm not happy yet. I'm not satisfied. I can't be. It would be nice to eventually reach some sort of point of where I go, okay, we made it. Now we can relax. But I don't know what that is. Because it feels like no level of success is enough for me because I know I can always do more. I don't know. It sounds like torture to me now the more I think about it. I'm torturing myself. This one I just titled Women, so I'm sure it's, oh yeah. This is a college student that was debating that guy from Fresh and Fit. I think his name's Marlon. I don't remember. That's one of the black guys here. And I just thought what she had to say was so stupid that, of course, I had to play it. So let's go ahead and add in sound. I always forget to add in sound before I do that. Oh, sounds good. Okay. Yeah, this is a college student, and she makes it well known that she is educated, because you know that's what all that matters.
Yeah, because women are physically inferior, and that's the truth.
Physically inferior?
Inferior, yes.
So you're telling me that you could beat a woman's ass?
Yeah. Yeah, I could. I mean, I never would, but yeah. Like...
Okay,
like...
I hate to break it to you.
Like, are you aware of the fact that, like, probably a 12-year-old boy can probably beat you up very easily?
Actually, I'm an educational psychology major, so they can't because they don't hit puberty until 14. And
even if they did, okay. Let's assume without puberty,
she's a psychology
he would
major.
still probably beat you up still.
Actually,
like,
he wouldn't because I have a brother and I'd beat his ass.
Anyway, again, I'm amazed that I have to explain this to a college student, but I mean, men are physically superior to women in almost
I'm
every
amazed
way.
that I gotta talk to this grown-ass man with dumb-ass things.
I just want to let you know that if you think as a man you could beat a lady, well, you can't. And he's like, a 12-year-old boy could probably beat you up. Well, they can't because they don't hit puberty in 14. I'm thinking, my 12-year-old son's a big kid. He could probably beat your ass. I mean, he's a nice, gentle kid, but if he wanted to, he definitely could beat that lady's ass. I mean, there's no question about this. That's one of those, like, I don't see reality. That doesn't make sense. It's like because of my philosophy that women and men have to be perfectly equal. Well, then you can't just make a generalization that men are stronger than women. It's like, but you can though. But you can't. This is obvious. the people that are like, oh, I only believe in science. All right, then believe in science. Men are physically superior to women. This isn't like I feel like it's not a controversial take. Men are physically superior on average. Obviously, there's scrawny little scrinkly guys that have like no muscle and they're like 5'2" and, you know, whatever. Sure. Yeah, there's big old buff Amazonas, you know, 6 foot tall women that are like ripped out, you know, the muscle mommies out there. Sure. We're talking about the big bucket of men and the big bucket of women. On average, yes, men are physically superior to women. Now, if we talk like intellect or, you know, some other characteristic traits, there's going to be things that women are better at than men. But men kind of take the physical one on this one, and I just can't believe that is somewhat of a controversial take to even say. Jason would have loved this video, and it's so sad that he can't be here, but I saw it and I thought of him and us back in the day doing the old pizza reps over at the Little Caesars, but we would have never done this. Ever. This is why I titled this man should be shot. Look at this guy. First of all, he flips out the pizza. I could totally do that. Easy peasy. He thinks he's super cool, but it's not this. It's what he does next that's shocking. Did you see that? He'll do it again for you. If you got that pizza, you should be pissed. Look at these slices. Bro, some of them are like little tiny nubs. Some are like a quarter of the entire pizza. He thinks he's fast because he's doing it so quickly. But they look like shit. If somebody would have done that in one of my restaurants, I'm not saying I would have physically beat them, but they would have definitely got accosting. I would have took them aside and said, sir or ma'am. I just want to pause on one of these slices so you could just see how bad these cuts are. They're just absolutely awful. This one's the most normal thing, and it's still ass. Still ass. And he's like, look at how fast. Everybody's like, whoa, look at how fast he is. It's like, he's not fast. I used to have people like that at Little Caesars too. They'd be like, look at how fast I can cut. And then he'd be like, whoo, and you'd look and you ever get the pizza home? For anybody that didn't work at the Little Caesars, and you take the pizza home and the slices are just like stupid as hell. Like one's like a little bit, we used to call them baby slices. That's how I would, because I'm the nice guy, right? So I'd go up to people as they're training, obviously. If they're, you know, experienced workers, I'd be like, what are you, stupid? But the newbies, I'd be like, oh, look, I think you're trying to take care of the whole family. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, you got some slices for the baby, some slices for the big kids, the teenagers get that, and then the daddy slices here because, you know, he's got to eat a lot more. And they're like, what are you talking about? Look at how stupid your slices are. Look at how uneven. We need even slices. It's real. You know, this thing's a circle. All you have to do is cut it in half and then keep cutting it in half. That's how you get even slices. It's really easy. Half, 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 half. 8 slices. 8 slices. And then they turn around. We want $15 an hour. We got to cut these things like... Doo, 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 doo. Okay. You got it. Give them the money. All right. This one's funny because it's absolutely true. This is for my my people of faith out there. And some people in the comments are like, oh, that's why you don't do this. Oh, don't do it so soon. And it's like, this is the exact point of doing this. Who wants to waste their time if something isn't what it was meant to be? And I do this every single time. And it works this exact way every single time, too.
The pleasure was mine.
Christian men, whenever they meet a girl they like.
Time for the secret technique, the forbidden prayer. Whoa, slow down, partner. We just met her. Exactly. I don't have time to waste. And just wait at least a week.
Nope.
Do it. Bro, wait. We don't even know her personality yet. She could like One Piece. Heavenly Father, remove her from my life. No, what are you doing? If she's not for me. No.
Delete. That's how it be. You just say, Lord, if she's not the one, remove her from my life. And then, boom. Goners. Some people are like, oh, man, what the heck? And it's like, but Don't you want your prayers answered? Some people are like, God doesn't answer my prayers. If you do his will, if you really want his will, he will answer them. It's just not going to always be the answer you want. And that's what most people's problem with God is. They're like, but I want what I want. And it's like the one prayer that Jesus says, like verbatim in the book, is the Our Father, where he says, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. He doesn't say my will. And when you recite the prayer, you don't say, please, my will be done. You'd say, hey, I would like this if it's your will. And if it's his will, it will be, because he's sovereign. And if it's not his will, then it won't. And then you can't be mad, because he created the universe and not you. That's just how it works. That's what the book of Job is like, where it's like he's got all this crap happening to him left and right and really bad stuff, and his family's taken away. He gets boils. I mean, like his whole farm is destroyed, and he's like, why? Why? And then God comes down and he goes, where were you when the Leviathan swam? Where were you when I separated the sun and the moon? And where were you when I created the heavens and the earth? Where were you? And he's basically like saying, bro, you don't have God brain. You have tiny little pigeon human brain. You don't think about God stuff. Let me think about God stuff, okay? I'm going to do that. Unless you were there. Were you there? Then Job's like, no, I wasn't there. I'm just but a bit of dust. And to dust I'll return. Okay. Then we don't get to question the all-knowing creator. He knows, that's part of it, all-knowing. He knows it all. You know near nothing. You're like a speck of dust on a sandy beach full of sand. There's a lot of sand out there. You're just one of those little micro dusts, and he's everything. That's just how it works. Sorry, people. That's how it is. All right. We have, this was me in my earlier years, not so much in my later years as a manager. Because in my earlier years, I cared very deeply about very precise numbers. As I gained more experience, I'm like, bro, I am not doing this by myself, for sure. But this is the manager that always complains about the labor being high. And so they always got to do something about it. Definitely me in my early years.
Wait, before you clock in, I actually don't need you right now. My labor is really high. Sorry. Corey, I'm gonna have you work a 6 to 11 because labor's really high and I can't have all you guys on my clock at the same time. Oh, hey, Samantha, I almost didn't see you there. Hope, are you getting ready to clock out? My labor's really high right now. Give me 1 second. Joshua, get off your phone and do some work. My labor's high and I'm not kidding today. Hey there, Mrs. Peters, how are you? Oh no, my labor's high. I don't need you today. Sorry. Hey, Sin, it's Taquisha back there in the office. Yeah, I figured. Tell her she can go ahead and clock out. My labor's high. I'm done.
Yeah, so in the beginning, I used to do that. I actually used to do like way worse than that. I can tell you spicy stories now because I don't work there, but before I would have got fired for sure. When I first became a manager, so I was 18, fresh-eyed, and I was like, I want to do the best job possible. And so one of the best jobs is like, well, you got to maintain labor percent. And for any of you normies that have never worked a job where you have to manage anything in your life, labor percent is the cost of all the humans doing work in your building times the wage, the hours times the wage they make, divided by the amount of revenue or sales that you have coming in. That's your labor percent. And so obviously every company has to try to generate a profit. So you have to keep your labor percent at a certain percentage. So you'd be pulling your numbers and you'd be like, oh man, I'm at, let's say 1,800 for the day. Oh man. Well, that means I got to shave like 3 hours worth of labor, or I'm going to be over labor. That's what the lady's talking about in the video. So I got to shave 3 hours, right? And so like, obviously the first step is like, anybody want to go home? Anybody want to go home, right? And then you'll be like, yeah, there's always a volunteer. Somebody always doesn't want to be there. So you're like, okay, all right, that saved me an hour and a half. Man, I still got to save an hour and a half of labor. And then back in my early days, I would be like, all right, well, I'm going to punch out because, I want to save the labor. So I would punch out for sure. But then if I had a closer that was like totally like they wouldn't push back, I'd be like, hey, let's punch out. We're both going to punch out. We're going to finish up what we're doing here, though. You know what I mean? We're going to punch out at 10:30. And then, you know, maybe if we're here till 11, but that'll save us a half hour per person. That's an hour worth of labor. So that way we can just make sure we're even on the labor. That's cool, right? And then if there were just some, you know, shy person or a normal person, they'd be like, yeah, that's fine or whatever. But it wasn't until I had my one roommate, his name was Ivan. And I was like, all right, well, we're going to punch out and blah, blah, because labor's high. And he's like, but we're not leaving. And I was like, no, we still got to finish closing. And he's like, well, then I'm not punching out. And I was like, well, you're not punching out, but the labor's high. And he's like, but I'm not going to work and not get paid for it. And I'm like, okay, well, that makes it does make sense. And I can't obviously force you to do something illegal. Okay, fine. You can stay punched in then. That's what you do. But yes, no, you can't do it. It's completely illegal to like work off the clock. But I was happy to do it, at least on my own. I was like, oh yeah, I'll punch out. Who cares? Me and Jason used to buy stuff just to reach revenue numbers. So like, let's say we're at 1,890 and we need 1920 to reach like last year's sales, because it was really big about beating last year's sales. So we need $30. Oh man, let's stay open for like 2 hours. An extra 2 hours to try to make $30. And if we didn't make the $30 after that 2 hours, we would just buy like $30 worth of pop. And we would take pop home or whatever, or buy $30 worth of pizza. We would buy $30 worth of product and just take it home. Just to hit us some arbitrary sales number, because that's how much we cared. And those people are like, oh, how did Al make it? How did he get up the corporate ladder? That's what it takes. You got to have that dog in you. That dog in you to work off the clock. That dog in you to spend $20 worth of pop because you are so dedicated to the numbers. Like that sort of dog. Everybody wants one of them dogs. Who wants that lazy ass dog that never wants to do dishes? That complains constantly about this or that? That closes 10 minutes early because they want to make sure they're home in time for some stupid show. Nobody wants that dog. They want that dog. You know what I'm talking about? That's just how it was. Now, in my later years, I was like, bro, I'm not, especially salary. I was like, I don't want to be here more than I have to. And you better pay me for everything I'm doing. That was definitely my later years. This one is on a positive note. My dad finally got Little Caesars off my bucket list. Yes, he got to work at Little Caesars. So now he can check that off. I don't think we ever technically got to work together. I think I've had you come into the back once, but I was really nervous about that because like I worked for corporate Little Caesars in all of my Michigan hood, and they would fire you over the stupidest stuff. I know I just said that I would like work off the clock and stuff, but that's like not as obvious. But like if you did some obvious stuff, they'd get rid of you like nothing. Famously, remember the cookies from episode, I think it was the first episode I had Jason here physically, and they have these Little Caesars cookies. They're free and they hand them out to kids. If you were caught eating that on camera, you'd be fired, bro. If you ate the wings at Little Caesars, you'd be fired, bro. If you took a pizza home, a $5 pizza, and you're like, oh, but they were going to throw it away, it was 2 hours old, you're fired. Like they would fire you over like the littlest stuff because they just did not care. So I was like, no, Dad. My dad would be like, oh man, let me come back there and work with it. I'd be like, no, dude, no. They'd get rid of me in a second. Are you kidding me? No, we can't do that. Now, speaking of dads and kids, I saw this video. It just teared me up. I mean, this is the best part about being a dad is being able to spend time with your kids, and especially if they are enjoying that time. And they're letting you know that they're having a great time, which is just fantastic. And I saw this little boy and I was like, man, this is what it's all about. Being a dad is like the best thing in the entire world. Take it away.
Dad, I love shredding. And I love you so much, Dad.
I love you so much. And I love shredding too.
And I love shredding too with you.
I love shredding with you.
I'm shredding with you, Dad.
Come on, dude.
I'm coming, dude.
Oh. I love specifically like his 3 tiers where he's like, I love shredding, and I love you, and I love shredding with you. I mean, the first time I saw, I'm gonna choke up right now, but I'm like, that is like the sweetest thing ever. And like my kids tell me all the time they love me, and it makes me feel so good, and I just love that absolutely. And I tell my dad anytime I see him, I love him, like because I love my dad. There's just something about that dynamic where it's just like, I know I truly feel the most fulfilled when I'm spending time with my kids. It's like all that other stuff we talked about like not being, there's not enough success, or I can't do enough, or I don't have enough money, or all that other stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's like a personal vendetta thing that I have against myself. But then when I'm spending time with my kids, and we could just be sitting on the couch or watching a show or whatever it is, and it's like nothing. But that's the maybe one of the only few times where I just feel like this is the best that it gets in the simplicity of it, which is just crazy. So I was like, damn, that's so sweet, man. I just miss my kids. I miss them already. I can't wait to see them tomorrow. They love going to the ice cream store. We go to the ice cream store every Wednesday. There's this new ice cream place down the street. So they go, man, I love going to get ice cream. I love when you pick us up and we're going to go get ice cream, Dad. It's so cool. And now, because we go every Wednesday and every other Friday when I pick them up, the shop knows us. Like, it's a small mom and pop ice cream place, and they walk in, they're like, hey, boys, I'm getting the same monster shake, vanilla shake, blah, blah. And it's like, it's so cool. They just love it. And I love having those little experiences. Or I took Elliot to go to the driving range the other day. I took both Emmett and Elliot to the driving range the other day, but Emmett, he's not a golfer. So he was like, he hit a few balls, but then he just wanted to sit there. And then I took Elliot back because he was like, oh, I want to go to the driving range. I was like, oh, cool. And so he wanted to carry the clubs, and he's like, and they're way too big for him. So he's like carrying these massive clubs and doing that. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. But then the other week I got to spend time with Emmett, and I was like, what do you want to do? And he's like, I want to go to dinner with you, Dad. And I was like, well, shoot, we never get to go out to dinner. Let's go out to dinner. I was like, you pick the place, son. He's like, I'd like to try Olive Garden. He's like, I've never been to Olive Garden. I was like, well, shoot. Well, it's only the two of us. That makes it more affordable. Let's go to Olive Garden. So then I went to dinner with my son, and we got to, and he was like, let's sit next to each other and we can like, we were playing that Pokemon game that he was trying to beat and stuff like that. And it was just fantastic. And we're like playing the game together, and he's experiencing Olive Garden for the first time. Cause I love Olive Garden too, but it's just like way too expensive these days. Like each meal thing is like $18. Which is just bonkers. But honestly, you're going for like a premium experience anyway. It's not fancy food, but it's definitely premium because the cost is there, which is crazy. I love you too, Dad. Thank you so much. All right. Now, the last two pieces are just some positive reinforcement. You know, I like to leave on a positive note. This one is about locking it in. So I said, lock in, fellas, and ladies too. But obviously this is... this is just a 5-second little quibble. I just figured it was something I could show you guys here. What's funny is we were talking about 2028. I just noticed it, but he's basically talking about in the future. The future you. You're looking at the future you. This guy looks too manly. Let me restart this here so I can pause it. Imagine it's 2028. You're in killer shape. You have $250,000 in savings. You have 5 income generating assets. You're dating the woman of your dreams. And it's all because you locked in right now. Right now. And so he's trying to get you to think like forward, right? Like everybody thinks of the situation they're in right now, and nobody ever thinks like looking back, right? Like, what did I have to do to get here? Well, you're not going to get into 2028 killer shape if you don't start eating better or working out, right? You can't be like, oh, I woke up in 2028. I didn't do nothing. Am I in killer shape? It's like, oh, I didn't do nothing. You need to start doing stuff today. Start dieting today. Start working out today. So that way in 3 years, you could be like, yes, I did that. I doubt I get $250,000 in savings, but I won't get $1,000 in savings if I don't start doing stuff to like either make more money or put away money or whatever it is to start saving. You're not just going to wake up with savings. That's just not how it works. You don't wake up with 5 income generating assets. You create those. You go out and do it, and you say, hey, how can I make extra money? I could do a side gig here or there. What are skills I have that I could monetize? I could go, I don't know, if you got a truck, anybody with a truck, you should be like, I can monetize because everybody needs somebody with a truck. So you could be like, man, I could post on Facebook Marketplace, like guy with truck willing to, take couches or whatever you need a truck guy for, $50. And there's tons of people. I know there's been a few times myself where I'm like, man, I wish I knew a guy with a truck that wasn't a burden to somebody. You know what I mean? Because everybody that has a truck that's like your friend or your family, they go, man, I don't want to do that just because I have a truck. But if you could just pay some guy $20, $50 or whatever it is, to haul your couch home, or, oh man, I really wanted to get that fridge that's on sale, but I don't have a truck. Oh, I'll just pay that guy $50 or whatever that is. What can you do to make money? You need to start doing it today. And then dating the woman of your dreams. That's the only one that you really is completely out of your control. That one's completely out of your control. Because in the ladies, they would say dating the man of your dreams. But that one, yeah, you could do all of that. You could be in the best shape. You're making money. You got stuff in the bank. That is a timing. What do they call it? Like the right time at the right place. The right time in the right place. That's nothing you have control over. Hopefully, we all run into the right person at the right time at the right place, and that comes together. But the first three, those are all things that we can start doing little by little, just a little by little, today and each and every day in the near future. And finally, I'm going to put this one out here. You guys aren't nerds like me, but it's not about who's giving the speech. It's about the words and the message in the speech. And this is Obito Uchiha from Naruto. But listen to the speech and not the fact that it's from an anime. Obito, take it away.
It's better to admit you walked through the wrong door than to spend your life in the wrong room. It takes courage to acknowledge a misstep, but staying where you don't belong out of fear or stubbornness leads to a life of quiet dissatisfaction. It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. Recognizing you're in the wrong place isn't failure. It's a step toward finding where you truly belong. The longer you stay, the harder it becomes to leave. But true strength lies in admitting that a change is needed and in finding the courage to walk out the door. Growth requires movement, even if it means starting over. Don't settle for the wrong room when the right one is still out there, waiting for you to enter.
I love that. Growth requires movement, and sometimes it requires starting over. Everybody thinks like I just have to move forward, and I famously say that all the time. I'm just going to keep moving forward. It's one of my philosophies. Just keep moving forward. Sometimes you reach a roadblock and you say, man, I can't move any more forward. But you can't be stubborn. You can't be like, well, no, I'm going to go through this brick wall. Sometimes you need to evaluate your situation and say, damn, do I have to take a step back? Do I have to change directions? I'm trying to look this way, but there's an immovable wall this way. What happens if I turn left? What's left? What's right? What is a different way? Just like this guy said, like sometimes you have to admit you walked into the wrong room. You can't just be like, well, no, I'm in this room now and I'm stuck here and I'm going to figure out how to make this room the best room possible. It's like, maybe you just need to walk out of that room and go find a different door to walk into. And that takes strength and it takes courage because now you're kind of backtracking. And nobody wants to backtrack, but sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes it takes stepping down to be able to spring forward. Or as my dad, for me, famously said, sometimes you got to hit rock bottom to spring back up. And I'm thinking, damn, that sounds dark as hell. Hit rock bottom. That's crazy. Who do you tell that to? Like, I think you need to hit rock bottom because you'll spring back up. But that's kind of the philosophy in this guy's motivational quote is not necessarily the fact that you're hitting rock bottom, but sometimes you have to go down in order to go up, or you have to go back to go forward, because you can't just sit there and either be okay with your situation, therefore you're not progressing, or stubbornly trying to make something work that isn't working. That's not courage. That's not strength. That's just stubbornness. And if you want to succeed, sometimes you got to open your eyes a little bit wider, and sometimes you just have to look right behind you. That's all I got for the after party today. And look at this. Where's my counter? 2 hours and 12 minutes. Not bad. We're getting down there. One day I'll get to an hour and a half, but 2 hours, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It just took Jason not being here, so that way I didn't give him half the time to talk. But hopefully Jason's here next week. We're going to see what's going on here. Really sad about this week, but that's okay. I knew I still had to do this because of the riots. I'm sure they'll either die down or it'll be riots somewhere else. What I've heard is there's supposed to be, I should have said this in the segment if I was going to chop it out, but from what I heard after this, there's supposed to be, they say worldwide, but I'm thinking, who the hell in the world is going to do this? Nationwide protests across the country on June 14th. I'm hearing rumblings across social media. They're trying to start this up. Nationwide protests across the United States at all the major cities. But then, you know, the small towns, they want to get in on it too. So they'll probably do it too. Nationwide protests, June 14th. I would love to be able to go out and interview. Like, I think that would be so cool. It sounds dangerous though. You know what I mean? Like, I go to the riot, like, hey, why did you set that car on fire? Hey, I just saw you like throwing that rock. I mean, what's that all about? You know, I don't know. It would be funny, but it sounds dangerous. But unfortunately, I believe June 14th is Saturday. And I told Zachary, the bassist of Natural Graffiti, that I would go out and support him. He's doing a Battle of the Bands, surprisingly, in Clio, Michigan. A Battle of the Bands at the Clio Amphitheater in Clio, Michigan. And so he wanted to like get together on Friday night, and we're all going to head over to his house in Saginaw, me, Mario, some other bands. We're all getting together and we're going to like hang out and jam and play beer pong. And then Saturday we're going to wake up and then we're going to head over to the Clio Amphitheater. And then Zachary's band is doing a Battle of the Bands in Clio, and we have to go cheer and support him. So hopefully he wins the Battle of the Bands or whatever it is. And then we're going to hang out Saturday night, and then I'm going to wake up and then leave and then hopefully go pick up my kids. I still got to get that confirmed because it's not my weekend with the kids, but this Sunday is Father's Day. And you best believe I want to spend a little bit of time with my kids. Let's pick them up, go get some ice cream. I don't know, do some stuff, hang out at a park. We'll see. So that's what I'm doing this weekend. I'll tell you all about it at the next after party for sure, or the next pregame, especially if I can get some footage, which is what I tried to do last time, but the signal was crap in Detroit. But now we're going to be in Saginaw, so maybe the signal will be much better, and I could do a live stream. That'd be fantastic. But I'm going to end the show here for today. My father, thank you for joining us. Cheyenne, thank you for joining. My son, Elliot, I know he's gone because it's bedtime, but thank you for joining as well. And all you lurkers and anybody watching this afterwards, I appreciate you so much. Everybody, I'm Al. There's no Jay. We're out of here. Good day and good night. I'm sorry, everyone. The show's over, but we thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time. We're out of here.
You what?
Good day.
Are you ready?
That was legitness. Yeah, it was. Huh?